Your next news bulletin on Euronews is coming up in under 1 minute. Euronews. The news.
President Zelensky asked the United Nations to force Russia into respecting the UN Charter.
The Israeli attacks are an existential threat to us, says the Lebanese ambassador to Brussels, and asks the EU to review its relations with Israel.
Sweden has accused Iran of sending thousands of text messages calling for revenge attacks over the burning of the Quran.
Schools in Italy launched an AI pilot project in an effort to enhance teaching. President Zelensky asked the United Nations to force Russia into respecting the UN Charter. He reminds nations that the war can't be paused or forgotten in his speech given to the UN Security Council. Zelensky adds that the war cannot end by just peace talks and that action is needed.
Putin has broken so many international norms and rules that he won't stop on his own. Russia can only be forced into peace. And that is exactly what's needed, forcing Russia into peace as the sole aggressor in this war, the sole violator of the UN Charter.
The Ukrainian president is expected to present his complete victory plan to Biden at the White House this week. He also plans to discuss it with presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Zelensky previously only alluded to the plan and said it would be the foundation for any future peace negotiations with Russia.
At least 3 people have died and 30 others have been injured in a Russian strike which has partially destroyed a residential building in Kharkiv. According to the mayor of Kharkiv, the building was undergoing repairs after a previous strike and was nearly ready for winter. Footage shows the extent of the damage on the large apartment block with a collapsed central section. Officials said on Telegram that the strike was a glide bomb attack and people remain trapped under the rubble as rescue operations are ongoing. Ukrainian officials said the strike came as Ukrainian troops engaged in hand-to-hand combat as they drove Russian forces out of a huge processing plant in the town of Vovchansk in Ukraine's northeast that had been occupied for 4 months.
Israel's attacks are an existential threat to Lebanon, says Lebanese ambassador to Brussels, Fadi Hajali, in an interview with Euronews. Over 500 people died in 2 days of bombing, while the international community fears an escalation of the conflict across the entire Middle Eastern region. For the ambassador, it is clear that Israel is targeting the human population and the civilians.
Absolutely. What's happening is an existential threat to Lebanon. The huge number of casualties are just atrocious. I mean, it's something unheard of in Lebanon in one day, and we hope that the international community would gather around and try to enforce a cessation of hostilities, immediate cessation of hostilities.
The Israeli armed forces claim to have struck dozens of Hezbollah targets, the Islamist paramilitary organization that controls much of Lebanon and often attacks northern Israel. But for Fadi Hajali, the war is against an entire people.
Actually, I mean, the narrative is wrong because today it's a war waged against a country, a people, civilians. That's number one. And for us now, the main important issue is that this war should stop and should stop now. If we are going to have this Israeli blatant offensive and aggression against our country, we are all united to denounce that.
The ambassador thanks the European Union for the economic support and the condemnatory statements of its High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Joseph Borrell. But he asks for a step further.
I mean, it's clear that Israel should be sanctioned. You should really look seriously into the transgressions that have been done by Israel. International Court of Justice has said so in 2 statements at least. So there are various possibilities to base yourselves, I mean, the EU institutions and the member states to sanction Israel. If not, at least we should review the whole aspect of the relation.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Swedish authorities accuse Iran of spreading text messages that led to violent protests after the burning of the Quran in 2023 by a handful of anti-Islam activists. Officials in Stockholm claimed that Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard carried out a data breach of a major Swedish SMS provider and have accused Iran of being responsible for around 15,000 text messages. Iranian authorities have not commented on Sweden's accusations. In August 2023, Swedish media reported that a large number of people in Sweden had received text messages in Swedish calling for revenge against people who were burning the Quran. The burning protests were allowed under the Freedom of Speech Act, which is protected under the Swedish constitution, and were approved by police.
Videos of Greek Coast Guard boats violating Turkish territorial waters and approaching all the way to mainland in 2 different dates are captured by Turkish citizens and posted online. The first footage shows a Greek Coast Guard boat approaching Akyarlar beach of the Bodrum Peninsula in the city of Muğla. The Greek soldiers seem to be in pursuit of a Zodiac with a person in it who is believed to be an illegal migrant. Greek soldiers stop less than 100 meters before land and turn back. However, in the second incident, that was recorded in Datça, which is another coast town in the city of Muğla, the Greek soldiers go all the way to dry land to capture the Zodiac boat, but the person in the Zodiac abandons the boat before he could be captured.
Hey
At
yo.
that point, a Greek soldier gets out of
Hey
the
yo,
Coast
hey yo,
Guard
hey
boat
yo.
and gets into the empty Zodiac,
Oh,
and both boats
x.com link.
return to Greece.
Sure, gonna click on that.
Following the incident, the Turkish Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya called the Greek Minister of Maritime and Island Policy,
Such incidents are unacceptable. Alright, go to the back. Nope. Go to the back like this. Increasing military spending. In 2025, it will grow to 140 billion, which is 6.2% of GDP or 40% of the budget. Oh! Since 2023, it soared 70%, and since 2021, 300%. Alright, so 2023, 24, 25. Social policy. Well, they're not having big changes in any of these. All social spending will be cut by 10%. But it doesn't look... I mean, from 2024, sure. But like from 2023, not that big of a change. So I don't really think anyone's gonna feel it. Because in 2023, they weren't really bitching a lot at all. So I doubt they're gonna be bitching now. Here, and growing a bit more. Yeah, I don't feel this is gonna have any impact. But then that at the same time, these types of things are interesting to know the situation, not because you expect something to come out of it, right? Hey, yeah, good morning, Stefan. How are you doing? How is life going? How's your... Is it Wednesday today? How's your Wednesday? I'm scared that there's a repairman who's supposed to come to check the house today. Today or tomorrow, he says. Today or tomorrow. So I don't know when he's coming, so I'm kind of waiting. Hey, yo, potted potato, how are you doing? Also, morning, but yeah. Yeah, I had a question for you, by the way. I had a question for you. Since you had the entire Lovecraft collection last stream, did you read all of his works? Do you have the favorite one? Because I was reminded of my favorite one, whose name I always forget, and it's about that golden-haired boy seeking a city. And that's my absolute favorite story, like one of my favorite ones that I've ever read. It was that one, and I think it was also the one with the star. Fuck, I really need to get to the books. I need to get to the fucking books to remember the names of them. But the one with the star and with the city that needs to be defended, because it is tied back to his like actual life story of not being able to go to defend Europe in war. So I was just wondering if you have thoughts. What's Kosovo and Serbia bitching about? Right now or usually? Right now it's fuck, wait, what did I see? I saw Kosovo is building closer ties with USA, and that's making Serbia rather angry. I think that's the last thing I saw. Kosovo was flexing with how strong they are together with USA. Now we also have issues, possible issues with Albania. Not really issues, they're not really a threat. But they do sometimes make certain nationalistic comments that get Serbs a bit riled up. So as far as I know, basically, they did that in response to Serbia being very imperialistic. Is it an empire that they want to bring? Who the fuck knows what Greater Serbia is supposed to be? It's a myth. It's a myth. It's a dream. It's a delusion. But Serbia has been really, really into the idea of, you know, the world order changing soon, and if the world order changes, they will get lands that they see as theirs. So yeah, basically a lot of drama recently on that front. I don't know if you've seen, but there has been a Serb who died in Ukraine recently. So he was fighting on the side of Russians. He died in Ukraine. His idea for volunteering, so he chose to go to Russia to fight. His idea for volunteering was that he wants to help Russians fight for Ukraine, so then Russia is going to come and help Serbs fight for Kosovo. And Serbs have made somewhat of a national hero out of this man. Like they're playing football matches and they're making like huge mosaics with his image and stuff. They're celebrating his family, they're celebrating his father. It's a bit of a situation. So of course Kosovars are not really feeling safe, and they're trying to strengthen the relationship with outsiders to kind of try not to go through the same Serb genocide attempt again. Consist Stories HP wrote in collaboration with someone else. Oh shit, I wonder which one it is. Case of Charles Dexter. Fuck! Which one is it? Fuck, I did read all of them, but I don't know the names. I do not know the names of, I think, like a single one. I can't remember the star one. Cannot remember the star one, but I used to love that one. Oh shit, yeah. Oh shit, yeah, proper. Alright, proper. Yeah. Oh fuck, you just reminded me of another one. I also don't know the name of it. But my favorite is definitely the golden haired boy one. Now I have to Google it to find it. Haired boy Lovecraft.
Leaving a positive footprint.
What's the name? Quest of Iranon. It's the Quest of Iranon. That's what it is.
Losing ourselves in nature.
That one. Oh man, I love that one. Yeah, it's a cool little story. I ain't gonna be spoiling it. I don't know if you read it or not. It's not really a horror one.
Change how you see the world.
Yeah, it's not really a horror one. I think the other one also, the what's the star one? Polaris? Could it be Polaris? Star Story Lovecraft. Now I'm gonna get it. Now I'm gonna get it. It is Polaris. Polaris, also not a horror, but also really, really good in my opinion. But especially like when I learned it's basically like how he saw reality, because he was a rather sickly man and he wasn't allowed to go to World War One to fight. So you know, from his position, it looked like he was almost betraying his people by not going, and I thought that was a really, really interesting perspective. Darkest Dungeon game. Oh, nice! Oh, nice. That sounds really cool. That sounds really cool. I know Lovecraft was the inspiration for that one horror. What's the color from the space? Something like that. I saw that one. It was good. It was proper. It was proper. Big fan of scary things that are not explainable. Holy shit, my man. No comment. I mean, fair that you throw no
The
comment in.
headlines.
Stephen King?
President
Oh, I don't.
Zelensky
Oh, I
asked
got
the United
one
Nations
Stephen
to
King
force
book.
Russia into respecting the
Shit, I
UN
don't know.
Charter.
What's the name of it?
The Israeli
Should I
attacks
go
are an
get it?
existential threat to us, says
Let me go
the
get it.
Lebanese
Let me go
ambassador
get
to
it.
Brussels,
Let me go get
and
it.
asks the EU
Be here in a
to
second.
review relations with Israel.
Sweden has accused Iran of sending thousands of text messages calling for revenge attacks over the burning of the Quran.
Schools in Italy launched an AI pilot project in an effort to enhance teaching.
It's not the space one. It's not the space one. I checked. It's a Rose Madder. I don't know what it is though. Never read it. It's like when I was a kid, Stephen King had a whole bookshelf at the only library we had in the village, right? And I thought I read all of his works. And recently I went to check like the local book auctions to see if there's something cheap, and there was this one, and I've never read it. I genuinely don't know what it's about. I kind of got hopeful now that it's the space travel one, but it is not the space travel one, so that's kind of saddish. Finland, Estonia, and Poland doing a lot in the EU at the moment. What is a lot? What is happening? What is happening? What are the news? I opened the European correspondent for today. They're looking into Central Europe though, so we could look into that. We could look to see what's going on. Oh, wait. They're talking about the pagers. When explosions resonated in Lebanon last week, the scale and execution of the attack shocked many. Proper, hey yo Demi, how's life going? By implementing the explosives into Hezbollah members' pagers, the attackers created a modern-day Trojan horse. Okay. Hezbollah and Israel have been mutually attacking each other repeatedly since October 7th, following the Hamas-led attack on southern Israel. The escalation has caused civilian casualties on both sides, even though Lebanese victims significantly outnumber those from Israel. While Israel didn't officially claim responsibility for the latest attack, few believe otherwise. But who would have guessed that the traces of the Trojan horse could lead all the way to Central Europe? Our correspondent explains what we know about a Hungarian company's involvement in this case. All right. Yeah, Kim, hey, yo, as a pager. By the way, have you seen the news of the Belarusian investigation into a German AfD politician who has, is it a potato farm? Because I'm not sure. It's some sort of a farm, and he's using Belarusian political prisoners to work on his farm. Apparently, it was an investigation straight out of Belarus, so Not really shocked personally, because I don't have good opinions of AFD, but that's a bit tiny little bit illegal, shouldn't it be? Well, let me see what's this, and then we're going to be looking. Then we're going to be looking to everything else. Oh, EU Neighbors East, great source, I love it. Very positive, makes me very warm when I read it. EU, Poland and Estonia joined Germany to train 4,700 workers for Ukraine's economy. Should I get the training there? Should I get... Demian, we're getting a training there. Look at this. Look at this, look at this. We can get trained and then we get a job. Maybe we don't have to work weekends. Ukraine is facing a critical shortage of skilled workers. I'm a skilled worker. I'm a skilled worker by any skill point, really. We will need millions of additional workers to rebuild the Ukrainian economy in various sectors, from construction to energy. Nah, I don't want to work construction. I'm weak for that. I could actually get some sexy muscles. I could work construction. 100,000 workers, mainly in the service sector and blue-collar occupations. Ukraine will need between 4.5 million and 8.6 million. Holy shit! Man! Skills for Recovery Program's labor market analysis revealed that a skills mismatch is more pressing than a lack of candidates. Oh, so like you have a lot of people, but you don't have enough of them in areas that you need. Alright. Nice though that you guys are doing this. This is incredible. This is incredible. So people just like apply if they have necessary skills. Construction, agriculture, transport, logistics, trade and IT. Nice. Nice. I think that's good. I think that's really, really good. It would also be, you know, incredible if we had 100% support from all of the allies, so the war could end sooner, so these people could start working sooner, but I guess you can't have it all. Maritime defense plan in case of an attack by Russia. Oh, Ukrainian wages are quite a bit lower. I mean, if the price is also quite a bit lower, then it's good, right? They also pay less for shit in shops. I haven't really checked your prices. I don't really know. But if it comes out to being kind of equal, doesn't it? It's certainly not a German situation or a Slovenian one. So I imagine we're all kind of equalish. We're expanding cooperation with Finland in maritime defense and are ready to develop concrete steps to prevent hostile actions in the Baltic Sea. Thank you. Thank you. Nice. Okay, great. I'm happy to see someone panicking about it. Yo, Astra. Hello, Russophobes. EU, US, NATO. That's an interesting name for an account. Honor to Western Europe and the USA. Yeah. Some honor. They get some honor. They get a shred of it, a part of it, a little particle of it. They get the rest when they regrow their balls back. But yeah, some of it. They should know like 2 weeks in advance if Russia will attack Estonia. But if they do, we are gonna be erased from the face of the earth. I mean, I'm still trying to be relatively hopeful about our possibility to defend if you know there is an attack. I do wonder if our leaders are going to be panicking about the message we are sending by not defending properly, and then if they are actually going to be defending as they need. Because I did see fuck, I can't remember her name. It's Anna something. From Germany. She's like your defense minister or something, right? Always forget. Baerbock. She had a speech recently. Recently, I mean like a day ago or something. I don't know. I saw the clips. In which she has, you know, pushed balls deep into a conversation about Russia waging a war on us already. We're just not yet seeing it. So I'm kind of happy. That these types of warnings are becoming more commonplace. I hope it happens more often, but I'm happy to see them. When it comes to Scholz, though, yeah, definitely, I don't trust Scholz at all. Scholz is absolutely going to betray everyone he can betray. Now, I do think there's some other good options, maybe. I do wonder about AFD, though. I'm kind of scared of AFD. They seem to be... Oh, there's actually a video on that we can watch. I'm not sure where. But on the AFD popularity with younger voters. And I did see the stats on it. And yeah, they do seem to be rather popular. It's a bit worrying for me. I feel AFD would sell us all out. 49 billion monies from frozen Russian assets are really gonna be used good. I do think they are. But I'm coming from the place of like, I think there's a lot of oversight on what we give to Ukraine. I think we track a lot of it really, really well. So I do think that when it comes to it being used, I think it's already designated in a way that's the most, how to say this, effective. Maybe not like, I don't know, bro, I would use it to buy like a bunch of air defense. But they're probably focusing on Ukrainian economy more and stuff like that, which I can't blame them for. But I'm guessing it's like the most effective in sectors they choose as the most important. I think it's gonna be alright when it comes to that. Best defense is a good attack. True. Stanenko's advice on the pocket knife and commit preventive strike on local vatniks. Why? hey, illegal. Western democracies have embarrassed themselves. True. They're not really doing too well when it comes to this. That's why they get a little bit of honor, you know, they're trying to stay on the normal side. Have you seen Americans getting pissed off because Zelensky said that, what's the name of the dude? The couch fucker. Vance. JD Vance. Zelensky called him radical. And there's been Americans going like, oh no, he's not allowed to say that about our politician. Like, why not? Why not? He's absolutely correct. Dude is radical. Dude's as radical as it gets, really. He's running on being the peace guy and tries to get a peace deal then by then. I feel at that position, though, it's like kinda idiotic to do it the way he's doing it, which is trying to force peace when you know Russia will not support that idea in the first place. Like, what Russia wants is a victory, right? Why go that direction instead of going the direction of I'm going to go balls deep into giving weapons to Ukraine and then we actually get a victory. You know, we actually get a victory and it looks better for me because you're not gonna get a fucking peace deal with Russians. They will not agree to a fucking peace deal. They themselves said they will not agree to a peace deal. What they want is a victory. You give them a victory, you're not going to be the peace guy. At that point, there's still going to be reports of torture, of executions, of mass graves piling up. Like, we were seeing them in Georgia, and it's been years since the Russian war with Georgia has ended, and since they have gotten some, let's call it peace, even though it's not, and they're still fucking shooting civilians around. You think they're not gonna do the same in occupied Ukraine if we let them have occupied Ukraine? That's bullshit. So Scholz is gonna carry that blood on his hands regardless. It's just...
This video
it's a stupid way to try to be a peace guy. It's kind of like what Biden's doing, I feel, and I also think it's stupid. Because like, he had a lot of time to ensure that Ukraine gets enough weapons. He could have been the victory dude. He could have been like absolute fucking Chad who brought victory to the West in this conflict, right? And instead of being that, he chose to be a little pussy. So now he's just not remembered as anything good, really. So, no. For the approach, it seems kind of stupid. It seems like a dumb way to do it.
This video is brought
just
to
go
you
balls
by
deep and blow them up,
On Sunday,
my dude.
Germany held state elections in the eastern state of Brandenburg. While the AfD actually underperformed the polls, coming second to the SPD, they performed remarkably well with young voters and were by far and away the most popular party with 16 to 24-year-olds.
Why?
Something similar happened at the other state elections earlier this month,
Hey,
where
young
massive
military.
pluralities of young Germans in both Thuringia and Saxony voted for the AfD. So, in this video, we thought we'd take a look at what happened in Brandenburg a couple of days ago and try our best to figure out quite why the AfD are doing so well with young people.
Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos.
So let's start by taking a look at what happened at the Brandenburg elections. According to the final results, Olaf Scholz's SPD came first with 31% of the vote. The AfD came second with 29% of the vote.
Cool name.
The New Saar-Wagenknecht Alliance, or BSW, came third with 14%. The CDU came fourth with 12%. And the Greens, Left Party, and the FDP all fell.
Now look, I gotta bitch about young people. I gotta be bitching about young people for a second, right? Have you guys seen the recent thing with Czechia? Czech Republic, and I don't know who else, sending diplomats over to Assad. They're sending diplomats over to Assad, and they're trying to arrange that Syrian refugees are... Alright, my OBS crashed and then came back. Are we back? We're back. Nice, alright, he decided to just refresh in the middle of my very important conversation. But what I want to be talking to you about is that the conversation was specifically, we take Syrian refugees and we return them to Syria, right? That was the idea. Now, there's a problem. There's no safe zones. So like you take refugees from Europe, you put them into Syria, they're going to get tortured, they're going to get executed, right? There's no safe zones. The human rights organizations are confirming there's no safe zones, right? It just doesn't exist. There's not a fucking safe zone in Syria. The problem here being the fact that I've seen crowds specifically start a conversation around this. I've seen start a conversation around this on Twitter. I'm like, how do we feel about Czech Republic working with a war criminal dictator? How do we feel about this situation? And a lot of people, and I assume, in my mind, it's like young people who use Twitter, right? There's probably some old fuckwads there, but most of it, I assume, are young people. They have this idea of like, oh, right, it's okay to send Syrian refugees back, because if we send the refugees back, we're gonna be sending back rapists and murderers and killers and criminals, right? Despite the fact that the conversation is not about immigrants who are criminals, it's about like refugees overall, a whole refugee group from a certain country. They're just idiotic. I don't know what sort of stupid propaganda they've fallen for, but they fell for the idea of this being a way to like return criminals back to Syria. Which in the first place, if the criminal is a refugee, I feel it's a very different situation than if the criminal is just like a normal immigrant. But just seeing them so happy about the prospect of removing foreigners from Europe, not too happy. I'm not too happy. So I'm feeling that the reason why AfD is so popular is genuinely the situation where the far right is able to speak to them more than the rest of the politicians are able to speak to them. Or to the population overall, really. Because I don't know if you remember when the voting was going on for the European Union Parliament. I used to be having these arguments on like a local level, and people genuinely think that it's the far right, the only people who are trying to solve the immigrant crisis, right? People think the far right is the only one that actually has some propositions and some ideas on how to solve it. Even though you had ideas from all sides, you had the left-wingers giving ideas, right? Everyone was giving ideas on how to control for it. So you had people being like, oh yeah, we don't allow we don't allow like any workers in if they're foreigners. We will only allow specifically skilled workers and a specific number of skilled workers. You had people arguing for more arrival centers to be built, so more people can be processed quicker, and we can repatriate those who do not get their asylum approved. So you can like send them back quicker because the paperwork is solved quicker, right? Because we have seen a lot of times they stay in the country for like 5 years waiting for their paperwork to be done, and then it just creates chaos in the system and no one really knows where they are anymore, right? No, AfD is horrible. AfD is absolutely trash. So in that situation, I do think that far right has just created the illusion of caring more and being better in solving the situation, AFD being one of them, when in reality it's not like that. It's just that the other parts of the political spectrum don't know how to fucking speak to people. Oh, but hey, yo, atheist, how are you doing? They do not have Chinese support. Already the latter no longer accept the ruble for some time. Oh, but China is still selling components to Russia. China does support Russia. Now, China does not support Russia from the position of, oh, we're going to fuck ourselves in the ass for Russia. They're not going to tank their own economy. They're not going to tank their own relationship with USA or with European Union. But they are supportive of Russia. In the case of an actual war breaking out, I do believe China will have a rather hard decision on which side to, stick to. Because they will have to decide. They won't be able to sit on two chairs at the same time anymore. I don't know what they're going to decide, really. Hey, yo, Raptor, how's Germany doing? Broken orbital bone. Which one is the orbital bone? Highly recommends never breaking it. Orbital bone. Which one are you? What? Someone that? Someone like that one? The one that goes, completely around. Oh, shit. How did you break it? Isn't your skull supposed to be really, tough? Yeah, the other bones, you can break the other bones. I saw an image on Twitter recently. You reminded me of it. A dude was driving a motorcycle, broke. What's this one bone? There's this one. Hip bone. I don't know the names of bones, dudes. I didn't study that. Broke that, but like a piece of it completely got removed from the rest of the bone, right? Went straight to his balls. There's photos of the surgery. They cut his balls to get it out. It cut everything in the path. Quite a horrible sight. EU countries taking in refugees equally. Right now, a few countries taking most. Obviously, those eventually will turn very anti-immigration when all systems are overwhelmed. True. I do... What's the word? I do hope there's a way to create a situation where we share refugees amongst ourselves, and also where we control for immigrants from outside of the EU rather strictly, and where we make it very clear that there's a difference between the two groups. Because I'm really, really worried about people not knowing the fucking difference between the two groups. It genuinely pisses me off. The conversation about Syrian refugees, for example, on Kreuz's channel has created a lot of people discussing about whether or not we need foreign workers so much in our economy in the first place, which is not a conversation related to refugees at all, because refugees are a completely different group than foreign workers. But I think people just lump them all together. So yeah. Germany's not doing great. Yeah. It's you had Scholz winning over the AFD, which is I mean, it's a somewhat of a victory. It's somewhat of it. Italy has always taken more immigrants than it should. Now it's in a fairer situation at last. That's true. Italy has introduced a lot of measures that should be helping them with controlling the number of immigrants that they take in. So yeah, when it comes to that, yeah. Tripping over a tree branch. Oh shit. Look like I got seriously beat up. 2 black eyes. Oh shit. Oh man, well, you could use that to your advantage. You're like, oh yeah. I fought off 2 bears trying to save a puppy dog. Are you single? Because I feel that would work on ladies in clubs. I feel that would be really a good way to start a conversation. I'm actually a hero, you just don't know it yet. They should still be classified as refugees, as there's no active war technically. But of course still under Assad regime, and ISIS is getting slowly stronger. Yeah, I see that. I see that as a more valid conversation point, definitely. But then you're also we're also creating a situation with let's say Afghanistan or Iran, right, too. Should they be seen as refugees? But like we've seen them kill people. We've seen the regimes kill people. We've seen them stone people to death. We've seen them shoot at people on the street. Like if you send them back, you're sending them to death. So technically, I feel it would count as a refugee because it's not just about an active war, right? It is about political persecution too. Majority of the state budget going into armaments and upgrades to their arsenal. True. They can still survive it for a while though. They can survive it for a while, which is why we should step up support. Just like get over with it quicker. Think Sweden will say Islam refugees will eat their cats and dogs. Man, that was such a stupid thing. Wasn't it that the entire drama started about from someone losing their cat and then saying that the refugees ate their cat and then the cat was later found? Because like I remember Twitter posts about a cat being found and everyone was like, oh shit, the cat has been found. So the whole thing just wasn't valid from the start. Just very USA, very USA. Don't want to piss off America again. We already dealt with them once. They don't want the second time. I feel America's not really too, how to say this, too willing to deal with anything at this point, and especially worrying if the elections go the wrong way. Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of those shirts. You know those shirts, like better be a Russian than a Democrat? I'm kind of worried that a lot of Trump voters would actually be supportive of the idea. I'm worried that there's not going to be taking over America, but like America is just going to sell itself. Aren't cats and dogs haram? I mean, would it depend on how you kill them? I don't know. I feel actually no, dogs should be. Why should dogs be? I don't know. Trump and Harris, very, very close in the swing states. Yeah. No, genuinely dangerous. Genuinely dangerous. And like if Trump wins, USA basically sold itself to Russia. That's like the done deal. They're not an ally anymore at all. Citizens and their culture must be respected first. No more illegal immigration. I do also have... I have my issues with the idea of European culture. I have a theory. Not a theory, I have an observation that a lot of it is being just a way for people to say that we shouldn't get any outsiders. I don't really think people care about what they see as European culture that much. Because Croatia, for example, we're currently dealing with our first years of being a country that accepts immigrant workers, right? So this is our first time kind of dealing with a problem. It's been going on for the last year and now this year too. There's a lot of foreigners in the country. For a lot of people, the situation is very, very new and very, very quick. Like all of a sudden, all of the apartments in the city got taken up by immigrant workers, for example. There's currently works on building an entire hotel for them and stuff like that, which not really sure how I feel about. But, it's like we're new to the situation. It's kind of fresh. But here's the thing. I've met quite a lot of people panicking about the idea of Muslim immigrant workers being in the state of Croatia, right? Which I'm not sure I see even that argument. But what I have noticed is that when I bring up to them the fact that our city, the city of Osijek, has had to introduce masses in English ever since all of these immigrant workers started coming, because they're Catholics. They're not Muslims at all, they're Catholics. They listen to the same masses we listen to, they just want them in English because they don't know Croatian. Then you see people going, oh, okay, they're not Muslims, but I still think there's too much of them. Like, what's the problem now? And I think in the end, for a lot of people, it all boils down to the skin tone, really. I think at the end, a lot of the whole cultural conversation about like, oh, well, they're not our religion, they don't have the same values. I think a lot of it at the end, when you prove that they do have the same religion and they do have the same values, a lot of it boils down to just, oh, they look different than I do, and I don't really want to be looking at people different than I am. So that's kind of my position on that. I don't believe people are genuinely worried about culture. I think they're worried more so about just not wanting different people. Everyone I know, except one in particular, the rest of us are voting against Orange Man. Oh, nice. That's incredible. I think it's really, really important to be having conversations on like a smaller level about this and getting people around you to know what they are voting for. I try to do that every year when there's voting. I'm like, who are you going to be voting for? Because it's like, it's really, really important to get people out to do the voting in the first place. Just a few votes could make a huge difference. Too many economic interests to stop the war. I don't even know if I agree with that, to be completely honest. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with that. Because the economic boost that we get from having a very long war seems to me to be counter-effected by the fact that we seem very slow and very useless as allies, right? Because, like, consider the situation right now. What we're doing to Ukraine is we're giving them weapons slowly. It's like you get this, and then you get this, and then you get this, and then you get this, and it's all like very slow, and there's a huge process in between, and thousands of your people have to die between each time we make a decision. That makes us look like shit allies. That makes us look like shit allies to be working with, to be relying on, to be cooperating with in the first place in any sort of a way, especially when it comes to military, right? If we from the start were like, what? You attack our ally? Fuck you in the ass. We're giving Ukraine everything we can, and we made them the strongest fucking defended democracy we could have made them. I feel on economical grounds that would be incredible because Ukraine is a breadbasket of Europe. When it comes to economy, they are very valuable. They are very, very valuable as allies, all right? So when it comes to that, you would have a very great source of, resources. You would have it strongly defended. You would be defending our countries from Russia, because right now what we do know is that Russia is paying for influencers and paying for our politicians to spread their rhetoric. So, which is also like making us look weaker. Everything is making us look weaker, and it's making us look like stupid people to be cooperating with, which is why we're crumbling from the inside too. We're falling apart internally, right? You see, European Union doesn't really want to rely on USA anymore. That's because USA is a weak little bitch at this point. You see European Union itself having fights over like, can we trust Germany in the first place? Can we trust Germans? Are Germans going to betray us again? Look at Scholz right now. Look at what he's doing. Is he going to go and do the Nord Stream again? He's going to sell us off to Russians. He's going to be willing to allow Russians to take a couple of countries from NATO in return from cheap gas, which is a wild thing. That is a completely normal opinion to have right now, because look at the man and look at what he's doing. So doing it slowly and prolonging the war, I feel, is having worse economic outcomes than just ending the war quickly would have. I don't see any sort of an economic benefit in keeping this going for longer. And this is without even mentioning the number of refugees that we are going to have to be taking care of for a prolonged amount of time, because we are allowing the war to go on for longer. Plus, not even that, but not having a strong response to either Russia or Belarus is ensuring situations like Belarus pushing immigrants into Poland is happening. Right? We're not having a strong response to them because we're like, no, we gotta normalize our relationship. we gotta be civil with them. We gotta be nice to them. Why the fuck do we have to be nice to them? Why the hell did we not build the wall immediately? Just like do the Trump humongous wall. Why do we have to speak to that trash? We don't really. But no, we're trying to keep the diplomacy ongoing. And because we're trying to keep the diplomacy ongoing and we are refusing to see these two as basically one state support of terrorism, now we're having immigrants being pushed into our countries, which is creating a better situation for Russian paid influencers and politicians in Europe to get more power. Overall, I think we're doing very retarded decisions when it comes to this. On economical sense, on political sense, on societal sense, on moral sense. In every single way, I think what we are doing right now is idiotic. Blue states will outdo the red states and swing states. I hope. Good luck. Nord Stream 3. It's gonna be Nord Stream 3. It's just, like, look at Scholz right now. Is he not yearning for that Russian oil? Look at the man. Look at the man. He would sign it now. He would sign it now. If it wasn't a full political suicide at this point, man would already be signing it. He would sign it. He would go and lick Putin's feet to be allowed to try and build Nord Stream 3. Like, I swear to God, I have no faith in that man at all. The rest of German politics, maybe. But, like, Scholz specifically, Scholz is gonna betray us all. We blue are coming out in force and we're gonna hear election fraud again. I hope, from your Twitch message into God's ears. Also, by the way, another thing why I think this is a idiotic decision on a economical level. You know why China is able to sit on two chairs right now? It's sitting on two chairs, one of them being Russia, the other being USA and European Union. It's able to do this because right now both chairs, from a Chinese perspective, look like they're covered in shit. Because that's what they are. That's what we did with prolonging this war, right? Both chairs seem useful. In case of an actual war breaking out, this is why you cannot know whose side China is going to be stepping into. Because they just don't know who's going to be able to provide them benefits. Because right now, both of these seem like trash. Russia, more of a trash because, you know, it has built up a whole reputation of being a humongous strong economy. Now we're seeing it's not really like that, even though it's still quite strong. But it's willing to stand by its allies, right? It's willing to support its allies when it needs. And what you have on the USA and European front is that we do actually have rather strong economies, but we're not willing to do shit. We're not willing to make good decisions. So from a Chinese perspective, of course they don't know which chair to choose. Both of them kind of suck for them in the future, right? Taking something from both is currently the best decision, but like in the future, nah, who the fuck knows? Kamala? She might be as bad as Biden. Yeah, I'm a bit worried. On one hand, I understand that she can't really speak too much against his policies right now. On the other hand, yeah, I do worry she's gonna be as useless as Biden is. So yeah, I don't know, because it feels like right now would be the best time for Biden to actually do something, to go balls deep. Why wouldn't you ensure a victory right now? I'm feeling that would be the best case scenario. I don't know, like show to the people that Democrats are really American patriots. You know, show them that you are truly on American side by defeating Russia properly. But how would that not be able to get you more votes? Why wouldn't you do that? So I feel Biden could really make the decision and ensure a bunch of votes who think that Democrats are, you know, weak little losers. But for some reason, I don't know, I think he's just choosing to go down, like, slowly. He's choosing to, like, power out. Not a big fan, but yeah. Everyone's gonna attempt to keep the Trump out. Trump wants to take away my health insurance. Oh shit, yeah, that too. Oh yeah, that too, absolutely. On an internal side, yeah, definitely. Kamala will go lymphatic energy on the war and switch to inner problems instead. Yeah, it's my worry too. It's my worry too. I'm definitely worried that she's not going to be any different than Biden, which is still a lot better than what Trump offers. You know what I mean? It's still a lot better than what Trump offers, absolutely, and I do hope she wins, definitely. It's just, I wish she would have been a bit more, you know, strong on this. Because she can, come on. Why not? Why the fuck not? Why are we having the castrated version of USA right now? Why is USA not the USA it used to be? Come on. The politicians are reflecting the voters' opinions. Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. AfD's party, Russia most wants to win. And a significant percentage of Americans say they want to reduce aid to Ukraine. Yeah, definitely. I feel there's a lot of... Oh my god, have you seen the... Fuck, which country is it from? The journalist on Twitter. Shit, it reminds me of that. There was this journalist on Twitter, and he was bitching about Zelensky and the other politicians in USA signing the artillery shells that are going to Ukraine. He was like, oh, this is so immoral, And then people were like, man, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Like, they're doing this as a morale boost for an ally of a country that is defending democracy from Russians. Like, no, this is based. Signing these shells is based, actually. And later he comes out with a post where he's like, oh guys, I'm so sorry for saying that it is horrible and heartless to be signing artillery shells. I spoke to my friend in Odessa, and I learned that they are actually getting attacked by Russians, and the Russians are killing civilians. I didn't know this before at all. I didn't know. I assumed both sides are the same, but now I see that one side actually is defending, so now I'm sorry for saying what I've said. And it's such an idiotic, like, string of sentences, because you have a friend in Odessa, and for 3 years almost you haven't given a single shit about them, and now you remember to ask them how they're doing? What are you doing? But at the same time, I feel a lot of Europe is kind of caught up in that idea of like, oh, it's a war, it's going on relatively distantly, it's, two sides fighting, and that's really what we know. I don't think they know the reality of this. I'm thinking it's rather similar to how a lot of Europe viewed Yugoslav war during the 1990s, because at the time we were also seen as, Balkan states fighting. Oh, it's the Balkan states fighting. It happens. Sometimes these Balkan states just go and they like start wars because they don't know who should be having whose territory, when the reality was that we were being invaded by Serbia specifically because Serbia wanted Yugoslavia to continue existing. But for the rest of Europe, this became known slowly, and for a rather long time they were just idiots about it. So yeah, when it comes to voters, I think that's what's going on. I think that proper education of voters is going to be a rather long process, because a lot of people just don't care about what's going on outside of their country. There's no USA politician for collapse of Russia and total victory of UK. Absolutely. No, absolutely. When it comes to collapse of Russia, yeah, definitely. I feel none of them have balls to be cheering for that. Which is rather sad to watch, but yeah. Hey, yo, Bella. Maybe later. We need a pressed POC here to make her interested. Oh, how do we do that? Oh, shit, you know what you need to do? You need to get, like, immigrants from Russian republics. That's what you need to do. You need to get immigrants from Russian republics, because they're very POC. You need to get them, and you need to get them cheering for the collapse of Russian Federation so the republics become free again. I feel that might be able to work. Might. They want Ukraine to survive and Russia to survive. Yeah, it's idiotic. Absolutely idiotic. Like, you shouldn't care if Russia survives. What we should care about is Ukraine winning. And then what happens to Russia, Like, you shouldn't care about it too much in the first place. Why should we make our decisions based on what's going to happen to Russia? Who the fuck cares? How many dogs and cats are you eating? One per day. One dog and one cat. Keeps your skin moist and young looking. Care about Russia not surviving? I feel outside influence in Russia breaking apart would be problematic. Would be seen as a sign that Russia should not have broken apart. You know what I mean? Even if it breaks apart by itself, you're still going to have conspiracies. But it's like with Yugoslavia. You guys know about the bulldozer revolution, where people overthrew Milosevic. In the bulldozer revolution, people who started the protest against Milosevic were getting some outside aid. It wasn't much. It wasn't much, all right? But it was like the posters for the protests. The posters were printed using the money that they got from international organizations supporting the democracy. It was posters, it was stickers, it was stuff like that that you could advertise your protest around the city, right? So now when some Serbs talk about Milosevic and about how they didn't want his reign to be thrown down, they will talk about how it was the outsiders who did it, and as the evidence of this, they point to outsiders giving money to print some posters. So, yeah. So personally, I'm rather worried that if Russia breaks up with outside influence, it's going to have the same situation where people will not be looking into why it was wrong to be colonizing all of these nations and then using all of their resources while not even giving them fucking heating systems. Russians are not going to be talking about that. They're going to be talking about the big bad West that made them break apart and how they deserve to have Greater Russia again, in the same way that Serbs to this day talk about deserving Greater Serbia. So I'm kind of hoping that if it breaks up on its own, there's going to be less of a place for Russians to keep on being scum. Oh shit, saw this. Yeah, she removes the sign.
То це 300% буде смерть. Отже, на фронті ми ходимо без цього всього, ми це все знімаємо. І чим більше дівчинка схожа на хлопчика, тим краще. Так що слава Україні, бережемо себе і любимо Україну. Якщо бойовий...
Man. Oh, it reminds me, have you guys seen that woman who made a documentary on Russians? Russians in War or something. Have you seen her saying that she embedded with the Russian troops, right? For a few months. And they gave her a military uniform to wear, even though she is not part of the military. She is not trained to be in military. They gave her a military uniform to wear so she would not get shot by Russians. Because if they saw her in civilian clothing, they would shoot her. So it was less dangerous for her to wear actual military clothing on the front than to be wearing civilian clothes next to fucking Russians. So, yeah, overall, fuck them. Debate over Ukraine weapons restrictions divides allies, administration, opinions. I'm feeling any weapon restrictions are idiotic. The debate should have happened a while ago, really. It should have happened a while ago, and I'm feeling that allies that we are divided with when it comes to this topic are not allies in the first place. I don't feel you can be an ally of the free world and an ally of the West while still wanting to give a victory to Russia. You can't have both. You're not on both sides. You're siding with Russia. After 2014, in the wild Russian propaganda, here are still sometimes jokes about eating Russian-speaking babies. Oh, I saw that. Kids from Donbass? Man, I saw a shirt, and there was like a big cauldron with like a bunch of babies inside. That's how I learned about the joke. So, yeah, proper one. Very Ukrainian in that regard. Oh, saw this too. Now, here's the problem I have. I don't think any of these speeches are fucking useful.
On the grim realities.
I'm really salty about all of these people, but I don't think any of their speeches are useful. I don't think any of them are going to do anything. I think they like talking and they like hearing themselves talk.
Not only for standing up for your people, but for standing up for democracy. Seeing you in Kyiv a few weeks ago with Secretary Blinken, I saw ordinary people from all walks of life. The soldiers and the civilians, the firefighters and the first responders, the mothers and the fathers, working together in defense of freedom. Your bravery and courage is an inspiration to us all. But Mr. President, I also want to speak directly.
Fuck, I wanna be salty about this. Alright? First off, he's speaking directly to Putin. Bullshit. Why are you speaking to Putin? Why are you speaking to... especially when you have representatives of the Russian Federation right in front of you. Why speak to Putin? Speak to that trash right in front of you. Speak to the Russians right in front. You think they're not responsible? Why speak to Putin? It's very easy to blame everything on him and then to ignore the crimes of, every other Russian that exists and that has been supporting him for such a long time. So very salty about that. I'm also very salty about the fact that I have a feeling all of these people are just like reading their little speeches, and then they're gonna go home, and then when they're home they're not gonna do shit, and I don't have trust that anything's going to be done. I just genuinely don't. And like talking specifically to Vladimir Putin, to me really seals the deal of like they don't want to do anything, they don't really want to help, they're not really giving a shit about what happens here. Hey, yo, Snag. Russian and Eastern part do eat some dogs. They hungry, see a chunky dog from its neighbor, they will eat that dog sooner or later. Holy shit. That's terrifying. But it's the Russian meat, isn't it? Whoa! I'll make it loud so I can hear him. Yeah, proper. You don't wear the press label because you will get shot if you wear press. Kind of stupid though, you can't wear press. Can't wear press symbols, can't wear medic symbols, can't be a civilian. The safest way to be around Russians is to be a fucking soldier from the opposing side, because you're least likely to get shot. Should have obeyed Slava Zizek, true. Absolutely. Zizek knows what he's doing. Oh no, this one. Hey, USA, how's life going? Hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome.
Мира ополчилась на Россию. Нашу страну не любят. Но это факт, это давно уже известно.
Так я не понял, за что Россия напала на Украину?
Чтобы защитить.
How was the stream? What did you learn about? What did you talk about? I wanna know.
Какое отношение имеете к Донбассу? Донбасс на территории Украины. Вы при чем тут?
Но это бывшие территории, там живут русские люди.
Подожди, бывшие территории чего?
Don't use TV on cars because Ukrainians can see.
А почему Советский Союз и Российская Федерация? Не могу понять.
What the fuck?
Потому что там живут люди, которые привыкли жить по определенным стандартам.
По каким?
Я не могу тебе сказать, по каким, но люди, которые привыкли жить...
You know what it means? It means like no heating.
Люди, я не знаю, где.
It means no heating, and it means no
Россия напала
water.
на Украину, чтобы их защитить?
Россия не нападала, Россия защищает.
Стоп, но если армия одной страны вторгается в чужую страну и начинает разрушать, стрелять по этой стране, это называется вторжение, нападение.
Нет.
Как это? Армия Российской Федерации вторглась на территорию Украины. Это вторжение.
Нет,
как нет?
Ну как? Ну нет.
Россия почему не защищает людей в Курской области? Объясни мне. Армия Украины на территории России в Курской области.
Ну, я на самом деле в это не верю.
That too, I don't know how they don't believe it. I don't know how they don't believe it. How do you not have interactions with people from your own country to know what you're doing? I don't buy the idea she doesn't believe it. I don't know. Subnews666 World, how are you doing? Also, Copioid, nice. Welcome. It's just that Democrats are used to empty talk about strong support. As a Ukrainian, that's my opinion. I see that. I think it's one of the worries we have about Kamala too, right? It's like she talks well. It's like the UN. Exactly the same. Where is it? Here. You know, he has the whole speech, and GG for the speech. Bravo for the speech. But like, if the speech is all you give us, I don't know. Very Srebrenica in 1990s, very we're going to watch as the genocide is ongoing, and then maybe we decide to act like after it's already done, but we're not really going to be doing anything to prevent it. So yeah, I don't know. I understand the lack of trust in USA overall. I understand it. I can see it. I can see your position. Oh shit, this piece of shit. Have you seen his later interview? I don't know if you've seen his interview after that. He had a whole thing where... Fuck, is it somewhere linked down? This one!
Goes a long way. This is the capital
He's
of
been
Ukraine.
confronted and
You're
he's
giving me
playing
all
it
this
dumb.
great context.
That's what he's doing.
Where's the context in that
He's
tweet?
playing it stupid.
Yeah, if you go look at all the other tweets I put out, there's a lot of context as well.
Oh, so that's backtracking because you had a massive amount of backlash from Ukrainians, rightfully. But why didn't you put that in the original tweet?
Yeah, hell yeah, freedom to
Because
Palestine.
that wasn't the idea of the original tweet.
Ukraine has a very good
understand why
voting
people in this
record on
country are pretty pissed
Palestine,
off
so I
with you?
feel that's really
One
important
post does
to
not
mention in
define
that situation.
everything I did while I was in Ukraine.
Well, I think what you were doing is to try and show that there maybe isn't a war
Yeah,
in Ukraine.
Ukrainians took our
You were
taxpayer
basically
money, and
trying
then he
to
films
ride
like
the
part
sort
of Kyiv
Tim
that's
Pool
all this
grifter
shit.
type wave saying, pulling silly faces, smirking at the people of this country, saying, this is where your tax dollars are going. You cannot avoid that. That is literally what you did. Everybody agrees. Everybody in the comments agrees. That's what you were doing. Why can't you admit that?
Because I do not believe by making satire on the internet commits a crime by any means. And
Okay,
I
so
be going back.
this is a
Piece of
huge
shit.
revelation. So you were actually doing satire.
In that post,
So it was satire.
is there anything wrong with satire?
I know exactly what you were trying to do. You failed in doing it because you've received more backlash and more hate than support, and I guess now you're backpedaling.
I wouldn't say that.
What would you say then? Where did you go in East Ukraine?
I went to, isn't Bucha East Ukraine? Or I went somewhere where there was Bucha.
So Bucha is a 20-minute drive north of Kyiv. Where did you go in East Ukraine?
That's where I went. I went to Bucha. Is that not east of Ukraine?
God. It makes me despair that you've come here, you don't even know the difference between East Ukraine and somewhere that's a 20-minute drive north of Kyiv, and you've put out content that's genuinely extremely damaging. Nick Shirley came here to...
No, like, fuck, that was in Bucha. Johan, he was in Bucha. People who he was staying with in Ukraine say that they offered him to go to the east, to go closer to the front line. He was scared. Little prick was scared to go closer. He refused to go with them. They brought him to Bucha to see what happened. He saw what happened there. And then he goes online and he's like, oh guys, we're giving taxes to Kyiv so they can be having these streets that are probably like, I don't know, older than America itself. But we help them build this. Yeah. So I don't know. Are we really helping a country at war or not? Piece of shit. Just absolute piece of shit, little man. I'm happy the interview was done. I'm always going to be like showing you that interview whenever the little clown is shown in the videos, because that's really what you need to know about him. He's a useless little prick. Thank you, Biden, for 5 billion Is that true? And also Ukrainians living in those like golden roofed houses, as we've seen on Twitter these days. Holy shit. The city is deemed to fall under Russian occupation as Russian forces are closing in from several angles. I did see, who was it? Who does the analysis? Andrew. I saw Andrew say that he thinks this either is like very bad or mildly bad, and it depends on whether Ukrainians were pulling out, like they knew the city is gonna fall and they kind of prepared the territory for it, and that the Russian recent big gains are kind of, you know, almost expected. It depends on whether they were pulling out or if they were not pulling out, and he is saying he can't tell for certainly, but he does believe that the rotations were like pulling the soldiers out. So I don't know, very concerning, absolutely. On the 20th, for the first time during the entire war, a missile landed 400 meters from me. Holy shit. Ready to trade places with any American taxpayer. No, I definitely understand that. I absolutely fully understand that. Holy shit, 400 meters. Man, that is absolutely terrifying. It is idiotic to me when they complain about, you know, a relatively tiny amount of taxes that goes to Ukraine in the first place. As if Ukrainians are not suffering so many times more. Oh shit, this dude. Is he a model? Russian man threatening people in Tokyo. Yeah, Danilov. He's a model from Moscow. I saw it somewhere. Fuck, I don't know where. Oh shit, I have new videos now. Alright, it's getting buried even more every second that I'm not opening it. It's getting buried more in my news. He's a fucking model. There were like images of him and everything. Has a Russian passport and a US visa, but he's been living in Tokyo since 2011. He calls the Japanese a fucking nation, although he models for top brands and designers. He also works as a Russian-speaking guide. Incredible. On social media, he praises Putin and Hitler and boasts of his Aryan race. I'm feeling that, like, as much as we're having conversations about deporting actual criminals from our states if they are outsiders, you know, the conversations about, like, oh, if an immigrant is, like, a rapist or something, we should kick them out. I'm feeling we should have a way to just kick them out if they praise Hitler in any way. Why is that not as big of a conversation as it should be? The second you say something supportive of Hitler, I feel you should just be thrown into whatever shithole you came from, including Russia in this situation. Like, why would you want that? Why would you want Hitler fanboys in your country? Just kick him out. Just return him. Man's basically yearning for that Volkov interview. You know what I mean? Zolkin. He's yearning for an interview. Just, what the hell? There should be a way to deport people. GG Japan though, when it comes to that conversation, the amount of Japanese people I've seen supporting Ukraine has been incredible. It's genuinely been incredible, so I'm very, very happy for that. Yeah, also talking about that. It's very Wagnerit. It's a very Wagnerit move of her hand, isn't it? It's very, I have Nazi tattoos all over me, but I still think Ukrainians are Nazis because, I don't know, I feel it makes sense. Yeah, he just does it. They do it. But wait, I wanted to see if this one has translations. He reminded me of Zolkin. I would love to see that man having some Zolkin talks. Auto-generated. Zolkin. It's a new one. Does he get what's the word? Translations later? Ew. Whoa! Saw this one. This was while I was on a stream break. Doesn't have proper translation. Some of his videos had good ones. Some of his videos had really, really good ones. Or did they just watch the ones that have really good automatic ones? Because some of them were good. Some of them were good. Like proper sentences and everything.
My name is Vladimir. I'm a journalist. I communicate with prisoners of war.
Oh yeah, maybe sometimes they're just like really good. These ones are good too.
Yes.
Did he never have proper translations? Did they imagine? No, you know what I probably did? I probably watched them on Twitter.
You don't have to talk to me.
Probably watched them on Twitter. Probably watched the translated versions there.
What are your motives?
Yeah, it's possible with that. It's possible with that.
State your last name, first name, patronymic, date of birth, and where you are from.
Russians are empty-headed. He just makes that and then they start thinking something.
What area?
By Ukrainian collaborators are unbeatable. He even started drinking regularly to relax in evenings. Holy shit.
This is outskirts.
Can be taxed if you haven't worked in a decade. Man! I don't know if you use like proper taxes. Doesn't that mean that you have no cash money though if you haven't worked?
It's no longer Moscow. Generally a bad area.
Doesn't it mean that your cash money is on the minimal?
At the restaurant. I am chef by profession.
Did you work as cook in a restaurant?
Yes.
Which one?
Rick the Ukrainian. Oh, maybe I watched his videos.
Restaurant Siren. Where is it located? On the outskirts?
No. The
not AI. It's AI. I'm on my wrong YouTube channel. I'm on the wrong YouTube channel here. It's gonna get me like K-pop recommended. Gonna get me K-pop recommendations because I use this one to listen to K-pop. It's a wiki backup. It's just backup because I use it as a backup for the proper one. Oh shit, I saved the NAIFA video. Can I show you guys the NAIFA video? Armenian Patches Cafe. NAIFA truck campaign. Fuck, I have to show you the NAIFA video. Where's my NAIFA video? Also, I still haven't watched the AFD video that I've saved. By NAIFA. It's also auto-generated. Why did I have a feeling all of these have like proper translations? Birthday truck from Jake, bro. Man.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Convoy 31. And what a difference a month makes. When we stood here last time, Ukraine was on the defensive, and right now we've taken more land in Russia than anyone has done since World War II. So for this convoy, we got some very special trucks going to help the very brave men and women that are fighting to deoccupy Russian territory. But on top of that, you can see behind me another massive convoy. But this time, we want to get you more involved in who you like and the interviews. So each time I'm interviewing a unit, in the bottom left of the screen will be the name of that unit. So if you like what they're saying, you've enjoyed their stories, please like our video, but also comment with this unit name down here. And our team is going to total up all the feedback, and then we'll present back who your favourite unit was and make sure that they get extra help.
Oh
So,
man, that's
join
kind
me
of
and let's see
dystopian.
what we've got in store for Convoy 31.
That's kind of cruel. I gotta dance for YouTube viewers. I understand it helps though, it's kind of sad.
It costs a lot of money in diesel to get these trucks
It's a
from
similar
Tallinn
feeling to
Ukraine.
soldiers
So we
raffling
are
stuff on
super
Twitter to
grateful
get
to Circle
donations.
K for giving us a big donation of fuel cards
yeah,
so that we can
it
actually
saves lives,
get
but
the diesel
just
at the
heartbreaking.
various stops on our way for free in their petrol stations. So thank you so much for your support.
Okay.
Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава нації! Смерть ворогам! Україна! Понад усе! Україна! Понад усе! Україна! Понад усе! Путін!
Because we've worked with them before, we have built them our first NAFO drone bus.
This is very nice. I know that you customize it according to our shim. It was our internal development and you made it exactly as we saw it. We are very grateful for bringing our ideas to life. Let's hope this is not the last time.
And can you explain a little bit about what the work is? You know, which drones they work with and what what this bus is going to be doing.
This bus will be used as a flight control center for large airplane-type UAVs, such as Slava 100, Poseidon and Shark. These are the UAVs we're currently using in our work. It is very convenient to work with this bus because, firstly, it is mobile. You can quickly get it to and from a position.
Should we have a look inside? Check, this goes up and down.
It's a folding table.
So we mounted screen on each side. We've measured the inside and it should take a case for up to the size of a Poseidon drone. And then we did put a port on the side, so if you want Starlink going onto the roof.
Whoa, nice!
What does he think?
This is great.
Yay! There you go, you've got everything you need to have your command truck and go and blow up some orcs.
Orc must die.
Orcs must die. Jake Bro and his birthday campaign is the reason why we have this truck. So you can explain to him that this man's birthday and his community raised $1 million. Yeah, exactly. And this is
$1 million?
One of 30 trucks that we've delivered from that campaign.
This is great. Shall we exchange it?
Amazing. So now you have a patch with his face.
$1 million.
And some more for the guys. Roland is one of the main guys, repairs and builds the buses and finds them and buys them. Well done, guys.
I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Jake Bro and his subscribers for raising funds and purchasing this bus for our unit.
No, that's incredible. 1 million twice? Shit.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
How are you?
It's beautiful.
Fine, actually fine, and glad to see you here, and all you guys too.
So I met
when I was following the birthday
Ivan the first time I ever came in a convoy to Ukraine, and we were by the Dnipro River, and he appeared with a gun. Yeah. Straight from Bakhmut, right?
Yeah. I'm coming from Bakhmut in this day when we meet each other.
Exactly, and I have spent a lot of time with him since then.
Yep.
I've even stayed in his apartment and looked after your cat.
Yeah. It's my cat sitter.
I am. So like, not only do we give him trucks, I am his cat sitter, Tiger Cat, the amazing cat. And when I first met him, we talked about two things. Like, one, that my country is better at football. Right. But Ukraine is better at boxing.
Sure, 100%, and still so much better than.
And it got proved this year, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think it still stands true. So well done to Alexander Usyk.
Yep. 100%. We won a game.
And the other thing that me and Ivan have planned is when we win the war and take over the rest of Russia with our Kursk offensive here, that we're going on holiday to Ibiza.
Yeah, only holiday, I guess. We stay one, maybe half of year.
It's a good point. Sorry, I'm going to move to Ibiza. Yeah, right.
Together.
Yeah. Like as friends, right? And DJs, not as, you know. What? Really? Oh, okay.
Come on.
Right, so, but which clubs do we need to go to?
All of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair.
Because we are young.
Box championships.
We are, like, I mean, I am 25.
I can't disagree with that.
23?
This is the UK is better at football. But most of the team's best players and that's the UK. It's a skill to know who to buy
Should we
and to
talk
be...
about the war, or should we just, you know...
It's really skill.
What's everyone want
Economical
to talk about?
advantage to be able to offer them more money, right?
Trucks are still super important,
yeah,
right?
get good.
And
you can also buy some of the best players.
We've also got
Luka
the Germans.
Modric still has a few days before his
briefly
pension.
a little bit
You want to
about
buy him
the
to
situation
win
where
a
your
few
battalions operate at the
trophies?
moment?
You probably can.
Since November 22, we stay in the Bachman direction.
That's a
Now
skill,
we
you know,
stay in,
scouting talent
Soledar.
is also a skill.
And I was a typical troop in my battalion. Now I make some other things. And war very changed in these last 2 years. And now without jammers, our guys don't stay in positions. We
I'm
don't
feeling
use
that I have this feeling
without
that like
jammers
naturally
because
British
drone
people are
changed
shaped at sports and I don't know why.
And
I've been thinking about it for like 20 seconds now. Like why do I have a feeling they're shit at sports? I don't know. It's not like they're built
and without
weirdly,
these
but
things,
when I imagine a
cannot,
British person, I imagine Boris Johnson and his
make
little
effective operation on the
weird
front line.
shaped body.
What do you think?
I see him as the representation of the
front line
Brits, and
that's
then I
opened
see,
up
you know,
in
it's not
Russia?
really a sport-based nation, more like a nation genuinely paying
Actually,
someone else to do
what kind of about?
Like, have you found it, you know, in your unit or amongst the people you know? Has it been motivating? Is it, you know, what do people feel?
I have a few friends who now in Kursk Oblast.
Yeah.
And also my brother too.
Yes.
Brits became tired.
I wish him luck.
Yeah.
A big luck because we all brigades, all battalions now in the front line check situation in the Kursk because it's very important for us. It's very important in the Bakhmut, in the Pokrovsk, in Slaviansk, everywhere.
Yeah, I think that maybe gets like lost a bit with people being excited.
Oh, I don't know about his athleticism.
Actually, it's an incredibly dangerous operation for everyone there.
Like when you
but
listen
also
to the man
the whole front
speak,
line is
outside
a
of
very difficult
character,
place
he's
right
incredibly
now.
rich sounding.
Ukraine
Have you ever heard him? Have you ever seen his
constantly
interviews?
needs more help from
It's like it's the
this
type of a rich
and
person
its
that would
other
like
Western
spit on
partners.
you if they saw you on the street.
Because
He sounds like that. He sounds incredibly
the quicker we
posh.
get it done, the quicker we can go to our beef.
And then he gets into character. It's like a completely different person. It's really, really entertaining.
We have a personal goal here.
We do, right? So please, like everyone that watches, please donate so we can like get on with partying again.
True, donate.
And stop just, you know, having to deal with Russians because, you know, it gets tiring, right?
Maybe we make a convoy to Ibiza.
Mate, I think so. Like, if we can get the trucks back at the end and take them there, that would be super cool, wouldn't it? Like, I hope so, mate. One day. This truck, though, this guy. Right. I've shown this so many times now today, but Jake Bro and his community raised
Jake's a
$1 million,
hero, really.
and 30 trucks.
By the way, Subchaps, how's life going?
$400,000 worth of drones or something ridiculous. And you are now going to wear his face on your arm. And that is something that I never thought I'd stand saying to a soldier, but it's about to happen.
Jack, man, respect to you.
Yeah.
It's very important for us. Thanks.
Pleasure. Cheers, mate. Good to see you.
Incredible.
Yeah. We like. I guess after war we have to continue to do this.
I know. I don't know what I'm going to do after the war. Like, you know, like this is just like become my weird life.
When I first time saw Alex, every convoy when Alex come to Ukraine we meet.
Oh
and
man, that's a
after
very
convoy,
Russian
we
system, isn't
moving
it?
sober and
That's a very Russian system. Very reminds me
chill.
of certain
Just chill.
videos I've seen from that.
and we become friends, real friends.
Yeah, that's some
and,
Soviet like legacy you guys will have to get rid of.
It's benefit of war. You can meet people who really very important for you.
Oh, cheers, mate. You too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dear, sorry, guys.
Remember that one video from Russia with like hospital waiting room, where all of a sudden like a pipe in the wall.
I want to
bursts
say
and
thank
shit
you,
goes all
J
over
Bro
people.
and his subscriber for this beautiful car.
Saw that once on Telegram. Didn't go to Telegram after it. that was fucking bad.
I can do this interview a bit differently because if he
Also
comes
the
here,
videos of was
and
it
you,
Mariupol?
we have
where they like
Yuri
rebuilt the buildings.
and Anton. Yuri, who's this
But
guy?
they didn't do it
This guy
properly,
is my
so the
father.
basements were full
And
of
Anton,
shit.
is this
Oh,
my
you
father
remember
as
that?
well? So
and then the
I know Yuri
residents
and
were
Anton
walking
very
around
well.
with
I
journalists
work
like,
with
look
them,
at
right?
this, look
So
at this.
now we will
the
do this
basement,
slightly
it's
differently.
filled with shit.
You can be the translator for your dad.
Actually, wow, it's just a
So,
shit basement. The entirety
first of all,
of the building,
tell
and
us
it
a bit
smells
about
like the whole
the
building because of course
work
it does.
that
Your
your
basement
unit
is full
does.
of shit. It's floating.
Now, our 57th Battalion is performing combat missions in the area of Toretsk. The situation there is very tense. The front line is changing dynamically. And unfortunately, the Katsabs are advancing in this direction. When the front line was broken between our battalion and another brigade, there was a threat to our command post being destroyed. We had to move it quickly in a Vaz 2104, the only Zhiguli we had at our disposal. We moved to Toretsk, where we set up a command post. And immediately our Zhiguli was destroyed by an artillery shell.
So you really need this then?
That's why we needed this vehicle, so that we could move
Oh,
quickly
he
and load
was
all our
destroyed.
documents and all our equipment.
Walking bridge with glass parts, probably sign built with
Why did he sign up to fight for Ukraine?
She decided to
What a
fight because of this beautiful place.
Sometimes I hear stories like
'cause of
that
us,
from Ukraine.
'cause
I'm
it's
like,
me and
bro,
Anton.
we're so alike when it comes to that shit.
What do you
We're
have to
so
say
alike.
to your dad for fighting for you and for the country? You can
I
say it
feel
in
ya, I feel
Ukrainian
ya.
and then Anton can translate.
We are very grateful,
After
and we want to say thank you for all this hard time that you need to have right now, and we love you very much. We
I
are
hope the
worrying
good
about
stuff
him
is
much,
happening more often.
and we are really waiting the moment of our victory and when our father could safely back home and live with us, with his wife and his sons.
I see your sons almost every day, and and they're very proud of what you do.
Alex, I want to give you this chevron of our battalion, 57th Battalion,
And
Dubno.
there's one other reason why you're here though this weekend, right?
I have a wedding.
Shit! Nice!
So just like almost perfect timing that you can come back same weekend. I hope your new truck serves you well, Vladimir. These two have come from Estonia. So this truck left on Wednesday morning and drove across the whole of Eastern Europe non-stop to deliver it to you today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Heroes.
Yeah.
Fucking heroes.
And I want to say thank you as well.
Can you ask your dad what the flag says?
It says here that you should kill for Ukraine, not die. Live to revive our holy land.
Please, you should kill for Ukraine, not die.
Thanks to Jake Bro and his subscribers for providing a vehicle for the artillery battery.
Oh, nice. Why is that? Was that the bridge that they showed on Russian TV being attacked? With a rocket?
Here,
Is that the
standing
one?
here with some radios in my hand. So these are Himera radios.
Because they
are
showed, now that
Ukrainian
you
made.
remind me, there was a
And
pedestrian bridge that they
this
showed.
man
You remember that? When they were
is
happy
the
about
founder
Russians
of the
hitting
business Himera. Hi, Misha.
Kiev
So,
with rockets.
Misha,
And one of the videos
what
was
is
a
this?
pedestrian
Explain to
bridge
everyone.
that they showed
What-
getting
what am I
hit.
holding in my
But the
hand?
pedestrian
This
bridge
is a Himera
survived
handheld radio.
the hit.
It's an encrypted
So they
frequency
showed like a
hopping
big
at
boom.
networking radio.
Um,
It's basically
and then they didn't show you
a
the
radio
aftermath,
with the,
but then people from Kiev were like, no, 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 it's
functionality
actually
much
like the
needed
bridge is
by
still
military,
standing.
but in a form
It did
factor
get
and a
damaged a
price
bit, but like it's
point
still
and
standing.
made
They
in a
didn't
way
show it
that is
actually
very
being destroyed.
accessible and scalable.
Oh, it's that bridge. Oh yeah,
Amazing.
well then it's
That
like
is a
rather
very
well
clear
built
description.
actually.
Can I ask this man now?
It's a
right, what is the
quality bridge.
importance of having a radio
Missed
with
the
that
bridge
type
by
of
meters.
technology? Encrypted
By meters
frequency hopping?
only. Man.
Шифрований зв'язок.
Encrypted communications, especially those based on AES 256 encryption technology, are unbreakable.
Man, that was
And
wild.
is it worth
That
the
was
time
fucking
breaking
wild
the
now that I think
cipher
about
to
it.
hear
We just, like,
information that has
we
long
watched
been outdated?
Russians
Probably
gloat
not.
over hitting
Yeah,
a
that,
pedestrian bridge.
that's like sort of the
Just
top
like-
government
just a
grade
normal
encryption,
skinny-ass
right?
bridge
Isn't it? You know,
where you
and
walk
it's
on.
important, right? Because if you're using radios to communicate,
And they just gloated
in
over
war,
it on
and
their
the enemy
TV,
can
like,
listen
yeah,
in,
yeah, well, look at us hitting it.
it's a pretty bad
And then
situation,
there
right?
was that, like,
Yeah,
nothing
as it
happened
is.
to him
And
after that.
Misha, as you've
Wild.
explained, right? So
Wild.
this is Ukrainian-made and innovated by you since the war
Oh
started.
yeah, the glass parts, yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck,
and
long
Ukraine is
before
doing a
war.
lot of things like this, actually making products that work in the battlefield, but without a stupid price tag, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, a lot of our colleagues doing very similar in different
I'm sure
niches
they're
and
going to be
defense
really
tech.
well packed.
And I think that's one of the
broken.
benefits, well, pretty much the only benefit of the war is that actually Ukraine has the opportunity to build a whole new industry off the back of it, defense tech, because in many ways, in different technologies, it is a world leader right now. And these seem like super
True.
light.
This is one of the big advantages for intelligence units. It is difficult for us to walk with a lot of heavy equipment on our shoulders.
Yeah, I was going to say like this. Like, and would
There were
I?
problems with
do
water
I have it
pipes
with
and
an
the water
earpiece as
supply
well? I'm
and long
guessing.
repairs.
You can have with
Well,
an
broken
earpiece,
again
with
and
active
again. Yeah, I
earphones,
feel-
or without.
Man,
there are
I'm like in
different
the
ways
middle of
to use
active
them.
warfare to have to deal with that shit.
And what range does it work over then?
So the direct line of sight is up to 2 kilometers, but it has mesh
Fucking
technology
wild.
that was mentioned that basically acts as rebroadcasting. Everybody accepts the signal and rebroadcasts it.
Okay.
This way, by having a number of users in the same territory spread out evenly, you are able to transmit signal over much longer distances than just point to point, while still keeping the signal power output low, and because of frequency hopping also being very, very
Should have listened
hard
to
to
Victor
detect
in
by
Milan, not
electronic
like-
reconnaissance systems.
Yeah, super clever. How many of these would your team need?
If she gave them more donuts, you know what I feel? If she gave them more donuts, or if the donuts were actually good, maybe people would have actually been listening. But I don't
We
know,
have a
those
fairly
donuts are
large
shit.
unit, and to provide most of the fighters with radios, we need about 100 of them.
I don't know how many have we got in this box?
100.
Oh, we've got 100. Well, right. That's, isn't it? Well, perfect.
Perfect.
I think it's great that, not only do we do like the trucks, the jammers, but we also do things like this that actually, for Ukraine, right, is low cost, but incredibly important. Because
All
if
of
you're
technology as a base for
fighting in a
crucial
war and on a
communication. Yeah, that's
battlefield,
true, that's
you
true.
have to be able to talk safely to each other. And that actually makes a massive difference.
To
right?
be fair,
It's
a lot
sort
of the
absolutely
tech that Ukraine
fundamental.
has is
you
tech
have
that
to
it has to
be able to
figure
move,
out by
and
itself.
you have to be able to communicate. And
Because
if you
the
can do
help
both
from
of those
allies
things
has
well,
been
you're
rather
a much
lacking
more effective army.
in a lot of areas. So
радіостанції, радіозв'язок – це
Yes,
I don't really know, like,
radios,
if you
radio
look at USA, for
communication is
example,
a
what
tool.
USA is using. right now.
Chimera is one of the tools. It is important for us to have a large list of tools that we can use. We need to be able to select tools from a large list to perform a wide range of tasks.
ми підбираємо під неї інструменти і виконуємо.
You get a sniffing brigade patch to wear proudly when you're on your reconnaissance mission with your encrypted radio.
Sniffing Brigade!
We're grateful to Mimas for the Chimera radios that will help us to carry out combat missions on the front line. Glory to Ukraine!
So can you tell everyone as much as you can, like, for example, we got a lot here. Like, how many will his Bandera group use on a mission or over a week? How many of these do they get through?
At the moment, the unit is performing a combat mission on the line of contact with the enemy, and I can tell you the number per day. It is 15 drones at least.
I'm guessing, depending on what RAB they're using, will depend on the effectiveness of your missions as well.
15 a day.
The enemy is very active in using electronic warfare
Like
systems
regularly.
with different frequencies, such as 900, 800 megahertz. and
Okay,
lower.
that's why. What was
More
the
often than not, out of 5 FPV drones, at best,
Fuck,
3
haven't done
hit
it
the
yet, but
target,
wow, now
and
I
this
can't
is
remember
a
the
very
name.
good
Bees.
indicator.
What did he do before the war?
I was studying at the Law Institute.
I hope that we can get this war done as quickly as possible, and
No,
you
it's
know
a
you can get back to being a
Like
lawyer.
I know
and,
that they are very, very good at
putting
supplying
lots of
drones to the
Russians in
front line
prison for
really,
war
really
crimes.
quickly.
I got so involved
Haven't
in the
involved
army
much
and
in
became
military
friends
aspect, yeah.
with my fellow soldiers.
To be honest, I
Not
have
wards
no
and
idea
not
how
newcomers. And
evolved
despite
we
their
are in that
ranks,
at all.
they are all brothers.
'Cause they
Because
feel
we're doing the same
the
best
only
job.
military
We are liberating our Ukraine
advancements
from the invaders.
in the industrial world,
I will
and I'm
say
following
that
it
I will
actually, like, in
continue to
Ukraine.
develop in this
I
career
don't really
like
know
the
what,
officers and
USA
above.
has or stuff.
I wonder how high I can climb the career ladder.
It's not that it matters
Hard
what
to
USA
imagine
has
a
in the
life
first place, because
not
it's not going to give
in
it to
war
us
and
in the
with your
next,
brothers now.
20 years.
When you know
It
that the
becomes
whole
obsolete.
family is serving in the army, when you come home,
So, yeah.
even your heart is empty.
I know
So
Ukraine
Rick
did
does
do
a lot of fundraising with his
developments,
community,
that's what I
and
know.
he
I know
makes
it
some
did a
pretty
lot of
cool
developments,
patches.
and
I say,
do know
you know,
that,
and this one, it's probably the
when it
best,
comes
right?
to the
You know,
current
the Bradley.
military
Probably
situation,
one of the most popular pieces of Western equipment here.
on
So Rick, why
some
don't you
areas,
present
NATO would be
with his patch?
benefiting from Ukraine
Yeah,
more than Ukraine
it's an
from
honor
NATO.
to present you with this. Please,
Hey, you're Damiane.
please enjoy.
Lol.
Because Bradley
Don't take
is
it.
a very good vehicle and
I
it
was
saves a
thinking
lot
of
of
playing
lives of our
TFT on
soldiers
stream,
these
like
days.
Teamfight Tactics,
And,
just having it in
I
the
hope it will
corner.
also save some of
You
your
know how
lives.
TikTok has
This
those
flag
like
is
salad
signed by
cutting
our
videos?
unit. It is the battle flag
I
of
had a
our
plan
unit
of using
and has become an
Teamfight Tactics
insurmountable
as my
obstacle
salad
for the
cutting
enemy.
video.
Yeah, so
But I'm already shit.
The enemy is very afraid
And
when we
being
go to the
distracted more
combat
during
zone.
the stream, I feel it's just going to make me drop my
Ah.
rank even more.
Yeah, cool. We have heard that before from
Kraken!
that when they know that they're facing this unit.
I
they
need
get
to be
scared.
buying those flags and just like hang them in the base. I need the CIA one. The NAFA CIA thing.
I want to say thank you to Rick
Also,
and
I'm
all his
allowing
community
his
for this
visual
great
card.
vehicle that will
It's like
make
black with
a
red.
great job on the
Really,
front
really
lines
cool
of
design.
Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine.
Loving the filming position too. Now that I look at it, like you look at the statue in the back and everything. That's so cool. And with a shield with the Ukrainian sign on it. How cool is that?
We are doing especially
gorgeous.
the assaults of enemy trenches.
Okay, wow.
But this is not the only job that we can do. The other part must be, let's say so, the other part of our job is very silent.
Something not for cameras, right?
Just called hate.
How long have you been in the armed forces for?
Personally, since the 9th May of the last year.
What were you doing before, if you don't mind saying?
I
In the
suppose the
civil life.
hate.
Yeah.
I'm the translator.
I feel they're very representative of my
The German-Ukrainian, but
feelings.
You're hired.
anyway.
Oh, German?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, translator. Ah, yeah. So, spreche du Deutsch?
Ja. Na, wenn Sie möchten, wir können auch gerne auf Deutsch reden.
Ah. But you're
Please
an
not.
assault unit, you actually assault trenches, right?
Yes.
So,
Thank
you know, most people that are watching this from the comfort of their homes
Yes.
have watched these things on YouTube. And I think it's probably one of the most bravest and terrifying things that no one can possibly imagine what that's like.
Now,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yes, this is very scary to assault. Everyone scares.
Yeah.
Everyone who is in the war now. But if you know your battle buddies, you know how good they are,
Yeah.
then you are calm, and then of course you can make jokes.
It's like, so, what sort of jokes then? Did you know? Tell us a funny story then, if that's something
all
you
of
don't
the
mind.
stories are funny.
All
I
of
think we don't have much time. No, really, if you start the assault, the last moment, then it's not very scary. It's more funny. When we started shooting, then we had a challenge: who kills more? So everyone won.
Что, надумал вылазить? Поешь. Ой,
Ты там ёбнул дверь с пулемета. Брониками заложили двери. Рука, походу, получила. Отходи! Сейчас ебет жестко. Пока.
And what do you keep the scoreboard?
Wild.
Of course.
Do you?
Of course.
And are you top?
Unfortunately, no.
Is he top?
No, he's not top.
Lads,
On the top is our commander.
Oh, right.
Because he's at the war, I think, since the beginning.
Wow, what, 2014?
Yes.
Oh, you've
Oh,
got
20,
shit.
not
I was going to say,
2022.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay. But
Oh.
In 2014, he was at school, just like me.
Oh no.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's still time for you to get to the top, right?
Of course.
Yeah, this is good.
Man,
so,
such
you know,
young people, holy shit.
if you're already, it's hard. When you're already
Yeah, soon
top,
he's gonna be in his
you know,
like
it's hard to
50s or
stay there,
whatever.
right?
Yes,
But,
of
you
course.
know,
It's very hard to
you
stay
now
on
have the
top.
motivation to get there. Just quickly about this truck,
You have a
though,
commander in his what, 20s?
how will you use this?
Depending
for
on
the
which
job,
school
of
he was
course.
in
Yeah.
2014.
Evacuation,
But
or
thank
when
us,
we
20s.
need to get to the job, this car will be very useful.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much time will it live, actually, because there are many FPVs. Okay, there are other drones. There are maybe some mines.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much time will it actually live, but this is better than nothing.
Well, we have a
Aw.
leaderboard for that as well, like, and you know,
Really?
the shortest time is about 5 hours. So, you know, hopefully you don't beat that score.
Anti-record?
Yeah,
5
exactly.
hours.
Oh, like 6 months or so, you know, like in actual combat
I hope
positions.
so. I
you know?
hope so.
So you try not to be on the top of the quickest truck death leaderboard, because
5
you know, that'll
hours
be a
is
bad
the
one.
quickest
But
truck
this
death.
man is American, and he and
you
his
know which one it
community, the
was?
people
I
that
guess we
helped
could
buy
find
this
it.
truck, they raised $1 million, right? And we brought 30 of
hours.
these
He didn't
and a
even
lot
get
of
out
drones.
properly.
And I, along with the truck, I'm going to gift you both a patch with his face on it.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, like, I mean, and I think it goes very nicely with the other ones that you've got. Like, I think let's put Jake Bro next to the skull of the hate group. There we go, there we go.
Yep.
There. So
Thank you
Jackie,
very much.
Nice one, mate.
If he's American, democracy.
He does. He does, and we're trying our best to maintain democracy here in Ukraine, right?
Yes.
So, your drivers have also come a long way from Belgium, and they've driven this all the way from Tallinn,
Whoa.
like 2,000
Peace was
kilometers
never an
non-stop,
option.
and now it's
Holy
here
Mother of God.
outside the Statue of Motherland.
Belgium.
Hello, Jake Bro and his
Oh, yeah,
nice
you're
subscribers.
putting, yeah, good.
The 24th Brigade.
That was a
thanks
great
you very
patch, I
much.
had no
Thanks you
idea.
a lot for donations for this nice car. It will help us for evacuation, and it will help us in our difficult job.
We are engaged in ground-based radio-controlled system.
How are they finding using land drones are changing how they work on the battlefield?
Ми допомагаємо зберегти життя.
We help save the lives of infantry, the lives of soldiers. They do not risk their lives. Instead, we risk only transportation.
Ми ризикуємо
Nice.
засобами.
So are they using it for ammo resupply? Are they using it for evacuation? Yeah, right, got you. So you've got like one of the tracked like stretcher ones and things like this, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, understood. And now you've got a robot Hilux, right, which is not something I thought I would be saying before this war. So this is made by the company Telearmy, and we have what is essentially an autonomously controlled Toyota Hilux, where you can drive it, but you can also drive it remotely, and there's an actual sort of driving station over there that you can't see off camera. And people might be able to see, but you know, there's the signal and the controlling and the ability for it to communicate with its base station on top of the roof.
Oh, that is
and
cool.
camera systems built in around it, so you can actually see what you're
Toyota,
doing when
yeah.
you're remotely
Holy
operating it.
shit.
We will, as we do with everyone, present you with probably the second best patch you've got after 3rd Assault Brigade. The Sniffing Brigade patch, lads.
Sniffers.
For you, my friend.
Man,
And for
that
you.
is cool.
Thank you. Thank you. And good
had no
luck
idea you can
with
do
your
that.
remote controlled truck. And perhaps you'd like to meet, would you like
Yes,
to
of
meet
course,
the guys
of
as
course.
well? This
Yes,
is the
hello.
team from
Hello,
Telearmy.
Anne. Hello. 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 Brit and Roman.
So, where's your company from, guys?
Estonia, of course.
So this is an Estonian company that's doing this. And how many of these trucks have you done now?
Incredible.
The first truck went to Kharkiv region 2 months ago. This is the second truck, and next month we're gonna bring another 2.
Great. So, and do you have any
Nice.
combat use cases from the truck in Kharkiv yet? Are they using it?
Of course.
Yeah, and what's
It's still alive.
They have used it saving
months, right?
soldiers' lives or picking them up when they are wounded in the battlefield.
Amazing. And they do it without a combat medic in it, so they don't risk someone's life?
Yes, basically. Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
amazing. What a great
Nice, that's
innovation.
actually- that's
So
great.
I guess you will spend some time training these guys up.
It will be easy, but yes, some training is needed.
And I'm sure, you know, then you can also join the 3rd Assault Brigade as well. They'll be happy to have you.
Yeah, we can do it from a distance because the distance doesn't matter. We can basically sit at home in Estonia and help support the Ukrainian army.
Nice one for what you've done. and
Yeah, there's nothing
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So do we
Brigade
have
is
a
incredible.
live demonstration?
Do you want to show? Can you
Of
you
course,
drive
yes,
it now?
that was the purpose. Yes.
Yeah.
Man! How cool is that? I haven't seen the video they made before on this. This is
We're
my first
grateful
time
to the
seeing it. This is
Telearmy
so
team
cool.
for the vehicle, which will help save the lives of our soldiers and bring our victory
That is
closer.
so cool.
Thank you. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to heroes.
Incredible. Yeah, 69 is the brigade. Yeah, that's important. You gotta know the numbers. Zero technicals. Rush job LMG, well done pickup.
Where are
Holy
you from?
shit.
I'm from Finland.
Obviously, this is an Estonian-founded charity.
Go,
right?
go, go,
Yeah, it is.
fundraise
Our
for
next door
one.
neighbors.
Exactly.
You fundraise
right?
for
And then
one.
from
I'm gonna
Tallinn,
pitch
you can
in.
actually
I'm
see
gonna take
Finland.
part.
You can.
And we have
Let's get it.
quite a few very angry Finnish people that come and join the convoys because they don't really
Few
like
very
Russians,
angry
do they?
Finnish people.
No, we don't really like them.
Like, and
We have history.
you have history, exactly, and but somehow you've actually ended
My
up here in the
positions?
army, right?
I know
Yeah.
they had
What
to do a lot of
motivated you to
paperwork
do that?
for the armors and cars. Oh shit!
My motivation was hearing from my grandfather all the
Ah.
stories and the horrors that he experienced
Ah.
during the war back
Yeah.
in the days, and so based on that, I saw the
Technically.
same horrors happening in
Oh,
here.
region, I like it.
So
Technically,
I just had to come
if
here.
you
and
drive one
help
over
out
the border
best
and they
way
figure out the
that I can.
paperwork needed
How long have
for
you been
it,
here,
I feel the
roughly?
next one should
Year and a half.
go
Year
in
and a half, yeah.
smoother.
Year and a half, and this unit that you're in
Kinda makes
is
sense in my head
out of
that
the
it would go
International
smoother.
Legion units, pretty good one, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's-
It's on the top one.
It's one of the top ones. It's professionally organised, and there's going to be this truck, right? It's got a bit of a special purpose, hasn't it?
It does. So we are a anti-air team. So this vehicle is going to get a Dushka mounted on the back. So pretty much straight from here, we're going to drive it to the garage and the people who are going to set up the mount for it. And
Yeah.
we're going to go with this one
Holy shit! Holy shit!
to protect the cities from drones.
Zelensky's in
So,
USA.
and it's- I
Yeah,
think
he
it
goes
is-
around
so
every
the
once
box
in a
on the
while
back
to
needs
get
to come
more
off, and then there's a
support.
really cool place here
Morale
that
boost,
does
and
the
also
gun
to get
mounts,
more
and then a
aid.
Dushka is a big gun. Right,
Americans
so,
need a reminder every once in a
um,
while that you
and
know.
Am I right in saying this is the
trying to
first
support Ukraine.
International Legion air defense unit?
Their attention span is rather short.
Yeah, so we're going to be the first team to actually do this, and we're going to be fully international. So we'll see. Hopefully it works, even it will.
And you do it with some other guys, and there's a British guy that
yeah,
was
I
meant to
think
be
it's
here
in
that
big
I know
part
quite well,
because
but he's
you know, you
he's
gotta keep
very
the name for
badly
boys.
injured, isn't he?
Yeah,
You know, he had
on track.
like terrible.
You gotta keep
combat
us on
injury,
track.
wasn't it?
You gotta keep us motivated.
That's why I'm laughing. But
You see,
he couldn't be here.
a
and
big
it's sad.
rise in donations when something
and
like
what
that
do your
is,
friends
you know,
or family back home think
it gets
about
attention.
you being here?
They support it.
Because
Obviously,
NAFO is
they're a
just
little bit
basically
scared,
a
like,
group of
that I'm here,
people
but
online.
they understand
And that's
why I'm
that.
here,
We're
and
all
they
committed to
fully
helping
supporting
Ukraine,
it,
but
which is good.
And
it's not
what
like
do you want to do once the war's finished? You
we're
stay here, you
somehow
go back to
serious.
Finland?
I want to stay here.
You wanna stay
Overall?
here?
Yeah, yeah, I fall in love with the country.
Yeah.
So,
what do you
yeah.
love about it?
The people,
It helps,
culture,
genuinely
the
does
cities
help.
is
When you see
pretty much
something
a
like that,
180
it's
compared
really,
to Finland,
really,
at least in
really
my
useful.
experience.
Interesting. So yeah, what? Because I've never been to Finland, right? I've only been to Tallinn.
It's like still the
Like,
little
what's Finland
patches
like?
work, birthday,
If you've been to Tallinn, it's almost the same.
fundraising
Is it?
works
Yeah.
really, really
I
well.
see. Yeah, I see.
There's been a
here,
whole thing. I don't know how much you guys
Estonians,
follow
you know,
NAFO
you can
spaces
see they
on
do
Twitter. A
amazing
few
things for
times
this
we
charity,
had
you know,
fundraisers
they
which
do,
were like
yeah. So
based
I
around
like it,
Russophobia
but
being
I
stored in
think
the
I-
pits.
I
That
like
was
the
also
food
really,
here in
really
Ukraine.
good
What do you think about
financially.
that?
So
It's good.
yeah,
it's
you
good.
can't.
And plentiful.
You gotta
Yes,
find a
mate,
way
definitely.
to remind
Definitely.
people
So
that hey,
when is this
you
going
want
to be in
helping.
action? Like you said, you're going to go from here and sort this out. Like how quickly are we going to
Next week.
see next week?
Yep.
So next week there'll be a big gun on the back and it'll be
Yeah,
shooting
yeah.
things,
So
right?
once we get
Hey,
the mount, get the
quick,
gun on
how are
it,
you
we're gonna
doing?
give you guys an update.
More
of it.
yachts from
You're gonna
poor
send some
USA
video?
Yeah, we're
taxpayers?
gonna showcase it to you guys.
Amazing, amazing. And
Do not.
This is
Do not remind me of
guy
that
and
shit.
his
Holy crap! You
community,
remember
the
that fake
fundraiser.
receipt
I keep pulling this
from
patch out because the
Zelensky's
bloke
wife
managed to raise $1
buying
million
what
for his
was it, a
birthday.
car or something?
Like, he's
And like
an
it was
absolute
fake.
legend. So
He was
I will
fake.
give
They
you
just faked it and they
his
put it
patch
on
for you
Twitter
to
and
wear.
it was
Thank you.
a lie.
Nice. And you can have
And
his
people
face
quote
on your arm
this day.
all the time when
To
you're
this
shooting
day,
guns
you
and
speak
drones
to
out
some
the fire.
Russian
We'll make sure we'll do
supporter.
it.
I
He's
mean,
like,
that is a
Uncle
dream,
Zelensky's
right? Yeah.
wife is actually
So,
buying
yeah,
Bugattis
it's something that you
with the
probably
American
never thought
taxpayer
you would have
money.
in your life, but you do now. So can I put? I'm going to rip
Take
that
that
off.
off.
Thank you, boss. There you go.
Nice.
Nice
Thank you.
one, mate. Nice one. Thank you very much for helping Ukraine, mate.
Thank
well
you.
done for coming here and
Actually,
joining the
morale
fight.
boost, not something they made fun. Oh no, it definitely does. Having better equipment is absolutely a morale boost, and the patches that they're getting are, you know, gotten together with fresh new
that was
tracks they
provided
get
for us.
and drones and stuff.
This
So
vehicle
absolutely,
will be used for every test.
when you get
so
more,
we're gonna get a Tushka mounted mount pack.
more
Yeah.
equipment,
you to you
fresh
all.
new equipment, of course, that it's a huge morale boost overall. How is Zelensky still there? Really? Ukraine is at war. You're not retarded, you know this. Ukraine is at war.
This
You
is
cannot have free and
another
fair
campaign
elections in
from
a
Rip the
country
Ukrainian,
currently
where
at
his
war.
community has fundraised for the drone. So, what were you doing before Azov?
I was a civil engineer.
Civil engineer.
Yeah.
Mind to just ask him questions with asking
maybe
don't know
I
shit
was
ever.
a little bit
Crippling brain damage, I tell you.
part of drones. Yeah, and
Hey, yummy, Zanuck.
I was programming and creating some drones.
Okay, right. And
I worked on television for 10 years before the war. I was a
Wow, that
journalist,
is so sad for me.
scriptwriter, editor-in-chief. I just lived my happy life. Now my life is no less happy and, most importantly, even more useful.
Why did you join Azov?
That is so sad for me, because
People
Diana,
come
for
here
example,
only
when her father went to the
voluntarily,
front,
so the level
she
of
was collecting
motivation
for
is quite high.
backpacks and stuff like that, you know, because her
You've
father was a
already used
baker.
the Wild
He was
Hornets
just a
drones
baker,
because
and
these
then
are
he went to the front
10-inch
line and he became a
FPVs
soldier.
from
But
Wild
he was not
Hornet.
a soldier before, he was a
And
baker,
if you
he was a
use them,
civilian.
how
And it's
do
heartbreaking when
you recommend
you
their quality?
figure out
I
that
mean,
these
how
people could have been
do you
involved in
give the feedback about what feedback about their quality
you
will
know,
you give
jobs
and
that they
how
actually
good
studied
they
for,
are?
and that's what
I
their
recently
passion, and that made
visited
them
their
happy, but
facility,
now
and
instead of
together
doing
with the
that, they are
volunteers, we signed several
participating in a
contracts
war,
for the
because they
production
have to
of
be
drones.
defending.
They now have a well-known drone called
heartbreaking
the
to watch, really.
Hornet Queen. It is huge.
Just recently,
Actually,
our poet
we
was
want to
killed on
work
the front
with them.
line. I don't know
But I
how
was
long.
also
It's so
impressed
hard
by
working,
their
like,
FPV drone production. It is impressive.
incredibly
Asking, do you want us to get you some big ones?
Does Russia still have elections anymore?
If it's
okay.
possible, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, why not?
We have bought Queen Hornets for other units, but you've seen it and you want to use it, like, for how are you going to use it?
It's like, it's a stupid question though, I feel.
With drones, bombers.
It's a dumbass question because overall I feel there's no chance for a person to have double-digit IQ at least and not understand why a country currently occupied by invading force is unable to have free and fair elections, right? There is no chance to ensure that all citizens of Ukraine can vote. So how would you hold elections?
For obvious reasons. So
there's no cities that are genuinely safe. Currently, no place in Ukraine is genuinely safe. We've seen basically cities in every single area getting shelled and families getting killed, right? So how could you ensure that any of them has the ability to protect people who come to the voting booths?
Hit, like,
you cannot, of course you can't.
Positions or armor or everything.
Many part of
Zelensky has only been president for 5 years. 3 years below the max for US presidents. Yeah, that's true.
So something 4 to 5.
Observation.
So that's a big
balance. I feel just like on an intelligence level overall. I don't think there's a way for a person to not understand why a country would be unable to hold
is that it's a
fair
very good
elections
drone and it works well on the battlefield.
No, I mean,
this one
like I feel it's just impossible
created
for you not to
by the
understand.
motives
Like you
of
have
the
to be pretending
painting of one of my
to be stupid. Not
subscribers, community
really
members. Her name is Lettercat, so she
Hey,
made this
yo,
pun.
the combat
in English, they have this blood type that is called A30B, but in Ukrainian, it looks exactly like
A30B,
Azov.
but it's Azov? Oh,
so
okay, fair.
blood type
Fair,
Azov,
fair.
battle mosquitoes that that are used by Azov.
Blood type
Yeah,
Azov and
guys.
battle mosquito.
This one looks
liking
pretty
it,
awesome.
liking
Let me show it
it.
closer. Yeah, and I'm honored to
That's
present you with this.
nothing.
Some humor will never be, you know.
Ivan has been in office for 26
We
years.
also
Putin
brought
for
gifts.
24, yeah.
We also left
Then
some
Zelensky
things
for
there.
being there for
These
5.
are trophy plates.
During an active war.
Okay.
And you can put this as a decorative element.
And
there are trophies inside as well.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, like
okay. So
Major
so he didn't
Slavianska.
need this
Nice,
anymore,
nice.
Now, you can see that
Slavic,
it is intact.
Slavic overall.
That means
Nice.
he was
Yeah,
hit
great,
in the
absolutely.
head.
Feel free to.
Yeah, fine, you know, and so excellent. That can go
Went
in
on a
our
date, but it
Russian
went kind of
collection.
horrible.
That is
She broke up the
growing
date
all
to go
the
buy
time.
some cocaine.
Thanks to you guys. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
run. Run. Substance users, run.
Good luck. Good luck.
No need for
Thank
that
you.
shit in your life. Just run. Run and then put back. She's Russian, even worse. Run twice as fast. Run twice as fast. It's in her blood. She's never getting rid of it. Just run.
We would like to express our gratitude to Rick and his
Hey, yo,
subscribers
Rick.
for donating the drones.
She showed you
FPV
Putin
drones
button.
have
Well, she
shown
went to
their
buy cocaine.
effectiveness on the battlefield, so I'm convinced that they will make us stronger and hurt the enemy.
Everyone knows Medvedev's 2 years was a joke. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, even without the 2 years, he's still been in power for way longer than Zelensky has, so even if you pretend the 2 years weren't a joke.
I work in the unit to counter chemical and radiation weapons.
Wow,
It's
I mean, that's the
ridiculous.
first
He's been lasting
time
more than
anyone's
4
ever
years.
said that
No,
to me.
definitely.
How
We
much of a
should
problem is that
blown
across the
fuck
front
out
line?
of Russians immediately.
The Russians
Absolutely.
use chemical drops from drones and thus try to neutralize and paralyze our personnel.
Spending American taxes?
How often are they doing this?
Too often.
Excuse
Too
me?
often.
Is your brother
Yeah.
Ukrainian by any
And
chance? Because I hear he's gonna use that
How
tax
do you
money
stop
to buy
that or
himself
counter it? You
12 new
just shooting the
Bugattis
drone, or are you treating
and a
the,
house
the
with a golden
patients like?
roof back in Ukraine.
Protective equipment. First
I
of
heard
all,
from very
these are
credible
gas
sources.
masks because the effect of the cloud itself
Credible
isn't
sources
too
being that
long
pussy
but
who
can
went
still
to
paralyze
East Ukraine.
personnel. It lasts about 10-15 minutes,
Piece of shit.
but a soldier must have time to put on a gas mask.
So are they going around making sure people have the right protective equipment? Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And do you cover the whole front line, or do you have different units doing it in different areas?
No, milking
Like,
the money
how
bullshit
does it
has
work in
started
your
from
job?
the people who
Yes, there are quite a few
believe
units specializing in
that
countering chemical
military-industrial
weapons.
complex
They
is
exist
such
in
a
every
huge
battalion
part
and
of
brigade.
the
And if
USA
there is a
economy,
chemical
and
attack,
that
does he have to
making
rush in with his
weapons is
team in
making such a
protective
big
gear and
change for
like
the
rescue
USA
people
economy
and things
that,
like that?
they would actually be okay with destroying their
First of all, our task is to
influence in
teach
order
people how to use
producing
these
more weapons
means.
for more wars,
And only
which is
then we
bullshit idea
carry
in the
out
first place,
such
because,
operations
your economy
as
actually grows when you
reconnaissance
have
when we
allies
mark
at
on the
peace,
map
and they're
where
able
the
to be
area
propping up
is
your economy and
contaminated,
having stronger trade
where
with you.
personnel must use certain protection and carry out decontamination measures.
Let's make
That
it-
is, people come
Sorry
to the
about it, I'm just gonna,
point
like, bang
and we
them for
wash
being
off
retarded.
all the chemical dirt from them.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Wow. And do you have enough
I ain't having no Zelensky
equipment?
slander.
I mean, you need
His
trucks,
people are
but what
fighting
about the specialist equipment to
against
protect the people?
an invasion and a
Yes, we
genocide
have
attempt.
enough
I ain't
modern
having Zelensky
equipment
slander
that
in my
we
stupid
receive
head.
from our
That is not
partner
happening here.
countries.
Great. Okay, that's good to know. Right. Has there ever been times
Like the whole thing, and when Americans do it, it's the worst
where
thing
he's
ever,
gone
isn't it?
into
Like
because he
Trump's
must be
son,
going
for
into
example,
places,
doing it,
right,
being
where
like,
there's
"Oh,
like a
Zelensky is here
chemical
to beg
attack.
for our money."
You know,
Yeah,
like,
but his people are being
is there
genocided.
times when he's
You think he
been
wouldn't
in
end this war
significant danger himself of
immediately if
being
he
like,
could?
injured from the
You
chemicals?
think
and so on
he
and so
wouldn't
forth?
be blowing a rocket
No, I
into
personally
every
have not
single
had such a
invader's
case.
ass if he could?
Although I have personally witnessed the use of phosphorus munitions, which are also quite toxic. The fumes can have a great impact on the human pulmonary system.
So it's okay for me to stand close to him?
Of course.
Yeah. Good woman, yeah. I mean, what an amazing job. Like, genuinely amazing. Like, you're going to get the bro birthday patch because this guy
No,
and
that
his
much
online
I'm not
community
that much
raised
understanding.
$1 million. I think this is the 27th truck that his money he's given us. It's amazing.
Attempt to communicate. Because if you're saying
I want to
that
say thank you, Jake Bro, and your subscribers for
a shared
this
Slavic
beautiful
language.
party.
What is poglebina? We have no poglebina. We have it like to mean Russian chauvinism, which I could understand.
How important is receiving
Because
things
we
like
have
this?
seen
you know?
Russians
Do you
use
still have a
Slavic
need and
as a word to
demand
kind of
for
incorporate
equipment to this
all
level?
people they see as equal under them, and then they
Unfortunately,
use,
there is a
Russian
general
as the
need
sole
for
representative of
evacuation
it.
vehicles
So I could
for
understand
our
if that's what you
battalion
mean.
and our unit in
Hey
particular.
Johan, how's life
There are
going? How's
not
everything?
enough vehicles to evacuate the guys from the front line.
You know, we have to raise money
shirt?
from people online. So to do that, you know, we make videos like this so they understand what's happening in Ukraine. So I'd ask you, can you tell us a story that you're happy to tell that gives people what the real impact is of this war and the work that you have to do?
We had a situation last year when we were near Avdiivka. We had 5 vehicles
Avdiivka.
for evacuation. But during the enemy's powerful offensive, we had only 1 vehicle left. And at that time, we evacuated 15 people, including both seriously wounded and medium wounded. During the evacuation, 1 driver was killed and a paramedic was injured, but they continued to provide assistance. And now we're working to interact with volunteers who can help us get cars so that we do not have such problems in the future.
Makes sense.
The support of our volunteer friends is very important for us, and we hope that this will bring us closer to victory, and we will
You're
not
saying I
have such
understand you
problems
well, which
with
means
cars
that
and
your
medicine
attempt to
anymore,
speak
and we will
in
save even more of
shared
our
Slavic
soldiers.
language is an attempt to
І в нас не буде більше
spread
таких
Russian
проблем
chauvinism.
з авто, з медициною, і ми врятуємо більше наших військовослужбовців.
I don't think you could have a clearer reason for why donations to the charity and for vehicles like this are always needed. And thank you for sharing that story with everyone around the world.
Unfortunately, during our communication here, there are more and more such stories on the front line. The pain of our soldiers in the Ukrainian armed forces is indescribable.
Службовців Збройних сил не передати.
These guys that you've met, right?
Overcoming.
Lemma.
How are you overcoming Great Russian chauvinism
have
with
already
speaking
met
Slavic
them.
though?
Yeah. They are masters of making ambulances. How many of these have you done now?
No, what it feels like. You know how when Serbs created Yugoslavia?
They can't even remember how many
As a way to
ambulances
like
they
unite
bought.
the Slavs.
But you know, just to explain, because people
But then
might
they
not watch
used
video before.
the uniting of
like,
Slavs as
you
just
put
a way
everything in
to
this, don't you?
quickly put a boot
We
over
put
them.
everything for
Wouldn't it be
stopping
similar
work.
to that?
Yeah.
It's difficult to
I mean, it probably depends on which position you are coming from,
tourniquets.
I mean, Sergey, is everything that they've put in here needed?
sure it'll be
Like, do you
used
have enough of
outside
it,
of
or do you always need
It's a
this?
concept. Good
This is more than we expected to receive from you. The guys have exceeded all expectations.
Перевершили сподівання всіх.
So it's like, oh no, we're not going to be using Russian instead, we're just going to be using actual mixture of Slavic
Я
languages.
хочу
That makes sense. I
подякувати
see that. That makes sense
особисто
to me.
від
I would like to personally thank you on behalf of the 53rd Brigade's medical unit. I realize how difficult it is to help and raise
By
funds
using
now.
language, 10 people
With the
involved.
help of
I mean, to
people
be fair,
like
it is
you, we
language,
can
it is-
help our guys on the
And
front
I found
line.
his
ми зможемо
messages like
допомогти на лінії.
easy to understand. You know what I think we should do? You know what I think we should do though? Like delete any sort of Russian influences
Хочу
on
подякувати
Slavic.
німецькому народу.
I want to thank the German people
Because
for
I'm
their
kind of scared
help.
it does have some influence
This
from them
ambulance
at
will
least.
help
Just
with
delete them, just like
evacuations
replace them with
in the
Ukrainian
Donetsk sector.
Здійснювати евакуацію
Should be conscious
на
of
Донецькому
doing that.
напрямку.
Speak Serbian and the whole world will understand you. Hell yeah! Pričaj srpski. Ceo svet razume. Hell yeah! How exactly that? Yes, yes, yes. No, but like it would be okay with
company.
Okay.
Yes, and
I would be okay
this
with like
means
Slavs
that
having
we,
a language of our
use
own.
mostly,
Can you just imagine like
the most
streaming in
heavy
Inter-Slavic
weaponry
and
of
you
our
get
battalion.
viewers from different
and
Slav
this is the one of
language
our
groups
weapon.
and they're able
we
to understand
have,
it
people
because you know
specialized on
it's
using
close enough
such
to all of
weapons
them.
as javelins
I feel
and
that would be
laws.
rather fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
his
our
hair is amazing.
Stugna, and our strela.
Yeah.
Weaponry. So this one was has a very interesting story.
Great.
This rocket stopped one of the
Band trolls too fast.
one
Oh, sorry.
of the
Sorry. You want him back?
armory
You want him
weapon
returned?
of
Hey, we
Russian
had a thing
invaders
for channel
near
points for a while.
Pishana,
I need to
in the
return
fields
it. It was
near
undone,
Pishana.
fella. It was
After
allowing
that,
it to return someone to check,
they
even if they have
injured
been
our
more than a
people
week.
actually, and we had to evacuate them.
Okay.
So this was this box was evacuated from the position.
Ukrainian
after-
language category
after
didn't
battle.
exist. You really expect
Yes.
some
So it did its job,
Slovansky
but war has a
category.
price.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna bully them
Lockheed
into
Martin
it.
did a good
We're
job.
gonna bully them
Well,
into it.
you know.
All right.
What about Endlorn?
That's what we're
Which
gonna
is your
do.
favourite? You see,
We're-
'cause
we're
I'm
going to
British
fight
and
with
Endlor's
them.
British, Swedish, you know. So
Yeah.
and this is America.
Bro, they have
Which
neopronouns
is
and shit
better?
in their categories. Why couldn't they have Medži Slovensky?
I don't know which is better because
It's like the same
you
number
know,
of people who use it.
That's a good answer.
no,
Knowing
it's
three
not
real languages
such a
helps.
diplomatic answer, but
So more than
I
half of my
think
friends
that
want to understand the shit.
you
That,
know,
oh,
each
it's, no, but
instrument
it's a good
has
thing
its
to learn
own-
as like a
its
stepping
own,
stone towards learning other
usability.
Slavic languages.
So
Because
that
look,
was,
you learn that and then you're
the
able to speak
instrument
Croatian.
to defend our land, and it doesn't matter where from there it came from.
We've made our own accents and culture with the
it
English
made
language.
its job.
But
Do you have
haven't
enough?
made our own.
No.
No, this is because
No.
we fired a lot of these right now.
Yeah, that too. I see that. I see that.
You know,
And like
one
it
of
is.
the most problem that we don't have
Yeah.
enough of each weaponry, and
The
it
line
means
is
that
rather
we
blurry.
have to use small parties of
Russian
them.
has too many Tatar and
So
other
we
influences.
have to learn
Belarusian
to
and
use
Ukrainian
them all.
is closer to the inter-Slavic route. Oh, nice. I like
and
that. I like that.
use
Nice.
it
I'm gonna remember that.
Not
Russians are
when
not even
we
Slavs.
want to use
We
one
spit on them. I
special,
spit on them
weaponry,
as
but
people.
we
They're
have
not
to
even
use what we
Slavs.
have.
Yeah.
They try to
So
be Slavs,
it
but they're
means
actually
that we
I don't know, a mixture
don't
of everything.
have always the weaponry what we
Petition to add
Yeah, so
Ukrainian
we've heard
interface
this
language
where
is active for long years.
You can't hit all the
Best
targets
which
you want.
appear is
for
fans
example.
add-on
Yeah.
for
You have to
browser.
pick, right?
Which
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure works correctly.
And
Oh
these
shit!
look, you've made these, right?
Bullshit.
Is this
Yes.
like
Belarusians
souvenir.
and Ukrainians.
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
your
Yeah.
with
your
what, and you put, is this
Great.
I don't know if anyone can see this,
This
but
is the
like,
part of MK
Hladan.
19
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
shell.
It's literally the same.
And this we have two type of these.
I feel
Some of
Interslavic
them
wouldn't have
could
that
be
problem.
used, some
I'm
of
just
them,
saying
do
Interslavic
not
would have
use
one.
because
Yeah.
sometimes we take grenades from
Belarusian
MK19
Twitter
Yeah, yeah.
uses
use it for
Ukrainian
FPV.
localization
Oh,
because there
okay,
are 0
right,
to
right. So you're
none
actually just using the munition.
localizations
Yeah,
and
yeah,
things. That
got you.
also feels stupid though. Like,
Hey, amazing! You've brought.
it's
So
a
we have
country
to
that
change
exists.
ourselves and even
Why
if we
doesn't it
see
have
a
localization?
given weaponry to make our
Why do they
job
not make
effective.
it for like every country that exists?
Thank you.
There's
very
not
much.
that many
Thank you
countries
for
that exist.
you.
serving your country.
Why not just make
Thank
it
you.
for everyone and then you're sure that you be
And
cool
thank
with
you
everyone?
for this.
What
and
is
the
that?
amazing
It's not even
story
like
behind
Belarus
it,
is
mate.
some
That is
like
incredible.
Kosovo or whatever, but it's like, who does it exist as a country or not? No, why are you doing that? You can say Harry Potter instead of Gary Potter.
Thanks to Jake Bro
I mean,
and
fair.
his followers for this beautiful car,
Gary
which will be used for our future victory.
Jake, bro, thank you. Are there many games making position localization? No, not many, which is bullshit. There's more with Serbian though.
Our unit
Which
is
isn't
engaged
bullshit.
in
Why would you
aerial
give Serbs
reconnaissance.
their
We're
way,
also
not
a
give us
strike
ours?
unit, and after reconnaissance we carry out fire
Come on,
damage
if
with
we're closer
our
to
strike
civilization,
drones.
any possible
How are
way.
you getting on with the expansion so far? You know, we hear that there are, manpower
We also have more money to
shortages.
be
Are you
buying
finding
games.
the men for your unit?
I don't know why you wouldn't play into our
Yes,
market.
there are difficulties for sure.
No, it's like
But
playing into
while
the
I
Russian
was on the
market
way
and most of
here, the
Russia is
command
living
called and
with
said that we
electricity.
already had
Why would
replenishment.
you be
That
playing
is, the
into
unit
their
is slowly
market,
being
Russians?
replenished. There are still not enough people, but the process is underway. We show good results, and the command responds to this and saturates
la
our
vista.
unit with new people.
And when he says he's working with strike drones, is he talking about FPVs or heavy bombers or sort of deep strike?
As a battalion of unmanned systems, we're currently using almost all types of drones that are currently being used at the front. That is, wings, long-range reconnaissance, multi-copter drones,
basically,
heavy
it's against
bombers,
Russian
FPV kamikazes, and FPV
I'm not
bombers.
a hot person.
We have
picking your side.
experience in almost everything.
You tell me this is gonna fuck up some Russians and I'm gonna be
Do you need some
supporting
more
you.
drones?
Oh, of course.
Only Slav localization,
Perfect.
suppose.
Because we want to get you some drones, because
Yeah,
actually, like,
I'm
this is a
feeling-
bit of
I'm
a
just
sad
feeling
track,
Russian
actually.
localization should be,
And
like,
it's
banned.
not great, because Pete, right, Peter Fulch, who was a British citizen and
I'd
South
probably even
African,
add it.
died a couple of months ago. And he was a really
They
cool
keep
guy, right?
claiming that
Do you know
Ukrainian
him?
is basically Russian already,
I
so
met
why
Peter
wouldn't they
a
just be
year
using
ago when we
Ukrainian
were in
localization?
the
Why
Serebransky
should we
forest.
even be giving them the
I knew
Russian
him
one?
personally and we became friends. We were still a regular aerial reconnaissance unit of a mechanized battalion.
Same
We
with
had a
Serbs
good
now.
relationship
About
and
it.
were like friends.
Because like they always do the
And
thing,
he
like, we
started
are Serb
helping
and
us.
Croatian language is
And for
basically
the whole
same
unit,
Croats as
it
just
is a
pretending
very
it
big
isn't.
loss.
Alright, then yes,
It was
Croatian
an honor
localization.
for our unit to get him.
Why would you use the Serb one? Oh no, why would you
It is.
require the
Pete
Serb
did a lot
language
for
to be shown to
Ukraine.
you?
He
It's
inspired a lot of
basically the
people to raise money, and he saved a lot of lives. Africa, I hope the truck serves you well.
Is her like any others?
I don't know how to measure the value of these machines
No.
and the work they do.
The truck was fundraised by the monthly subscribers to our charity,
and
in return there is a patch of Pete.
So it's wanted to remove
Yeah,
it because Russians do
mate.
not have this letter and use the
And,
basically make it look like Ukrainians are just
Some
sounding
more
this
for
letter in a
the rest of the
specific
guys in
accent.
your
Holy
unit,
shit.
and we will get you more trucks.
Long time no
and
see. Do I
drones,
know who you
and
are?
you can avenge Pete and all your other fallen brothers.
I see a new account being
For me
made.
personally, and I will say for all the guys, it is a
Have you
great
seen some
honor for
similar
us, and we'll thank you
letters?
very much for your
I'm
attention
cheering
to
for
our unit
Latinx
and
because
our
I can actually
activities.
read Latinx.
Believe me, we will justify your
I'm
trust
cheering
and
for a
victory
mixture
will
where we
be
use
ours.
Latinx, but we use that
And
cool
for Peter,
Ukrainian
we take
E
revenge
with like
every day. And
want
for
that.
all our
I want
guys
that.
as
So
well.
that's what I want. I want a mix. I want a mix. I like your little
I would like to
it's a
thank
very,
the
very
monthly
cool
subscribers of the
letter.
69th Sniffing Brigade for raising funds for this wonderful vehicle.
Feels like Helen.
I am non-staff artillery chief of a brigade that is directly engaged in performing fire missions and destroying enemy manpower. We plan to use this vehicle directly with small artillery, with mortar gunners who will quickly move to positions and
I love their
actively
plans for
fire
these
at the
vehicles.
enemy
I
to
love how they
advance
can be
our
adjusted to
infantry.
different needs on the
So
battlefield.
you said like artillery, is it just mortars or are you using
This
like
is so interesting to
T-30s
watch.
or Western artillery as well?
Yes, I am familiar with Western artillery
operation
systems.
itself is really,
I have
really well
used
thought
Paladin,
out.
Rack,
So you look at
Panzer
like
2000
every
and
group
Crab.
that needs a vehicle,
These are
and
the
then you look at their
vehicles
needs,
I
and
have
then you
worked
adjust the
with.
vehicle that they're getting to
So
the
this truck
needs.
was fundraised by a YouTuber.
And then we fundraised
called,
for it.
Supremacy. You are going to get
How cool is
a
that?
patch of a dinosaur
How cool
standing
is
on
that?
top of a Russian tank.
For this chevron, I will give mine away.
I mean,
Polish
who
is
does
much
not
more
want that
understandable
patch?
than Russian. Sometimes feels more closer.
Thank you,
See, nice. I'm happy to hear.
We
Yeah,
recently
Polish.
lost our car.
Polish. When I see it written, I have no
I was
fucking idea what
chased
they are
by
trying
5
to
FPV
communicate.
drones for a long time.
But when I
Bang,
hear
bang,
it, yeah,
We
I can actually
escaped
get
from
it.
3
I can
drones
get
and
it
2
Ukrainian
drones
too.
severely damaged the car.
I've actually noticed
Well,
that because I've been
unfortunately
consciously
or
avoiding
luckily I
any
survived.
sort of Russian
The car is
media,
beyond repair.
like I choose to avoid
So
it
look,
specifically.
You've got a new truck.
I almost
And then
can't
we're gonna drive
genuinely
in
like figure
in
out
Russia. Yeah.
the language difference because
Right,
I
and-
can't
but these
understand
two
Ukrainian
have come
more.
from
It's
Sweden
just
and
differently
Estonia.
spoken.
They left on Wednesday
It's really,
morning
really cool. It's
and they
like
drove
with,
non-stop all the way across the whole
for
of
example,
Eastern
how you
Europe
will
to
always
here
recognize Slovenian.
to give you this truck.
You just know
So
it's
there you go.
Slovenian, even if you don't understand.
So, yeah,
and I
thank you
don't
both,
understand
and
a
well
lot of
done, very
Slovenian, especially when they talk like naturally fast. I have no fucking idea what they're saying, but I can be Slovenian. It's really, really cool.
I express my gratitude to such a Mimas and his subscribers.
Middle East Toyotas, not only deserts. Yeah. In the West, who is they? The vehicles?
How long have you been in the army for, Vlad, and in this war?
10 years.
10 years of fighting
10
Russians.
years, holy shit, from the start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Can you ask Vlad what he feels about the recent events with Kursk?
Of course it is positive because troops are being withdrawn in our areas. It is a little easier for the military because people are tired. We realize that we have a difficult situation in some parts of the front line. If this improves the situation and reduces the pressure in the Donetsk sector,
Oh yeah, but
it
guys,
is certainly
how's
positive.
Belarusian?
That's good to hear. You
I
know,
don't think I ever
that's an
paid
assumption
attention.
that
How's
I think we
Belarusian?
make, but it's good to hear it is having that impact. And can you ask him, is it
Like-
having a positive morale effect on his unit? And
How
his men?
similar is it?
Of course,
Can
it
you
is
understand
positive. When Ukraine is moving forward, it is very good.
So you're getting one of our NAFO trucks. Can Vlad tell us a little bit about how they're going to use this?
We use the trucks to supply the unit with ammunition on the front line, transport people to their
Just a reminder,
positions,
this
and
man's been in
evacuate the
10
wounded.
years. It
Sure.
started
And,
and he was
for,
there,
for a
and it's
vehicle
going
like
on, and
this,
he's still
going
there.
to front line, like how close will they actually take this?
We usually
You
go
go
deep
pretty
into
deep
the
in Kursk, yeah,
positions
it's also
because we have
incredible.
very
It
good
is
and fearless
incredible.
drivers.
We're giving you a truck, but what else does your unit
Linguistically
need to be
close
able to fight
dialect.
harder?
Oh, nice. Pretty understandable for Ukrainians.
People.
That's cool. That's cool.
Many
That's
men
cool. I
here
like
up for it, yeah. Yeah.
You just
Anyone
look
up
at
for it?
Russians, how Russians look at you.
We need trained people.
Yeah. I mean, if people are to join your unit, like how
Why are
much
you
training do they
pretending
go
you're
through?
not one of
If
us?
it's me, it usually takes 2-3 months to learn how to use equipment.
Remember this, Ukrainian men not fighting. Team up with Vlad, and you can help win. We're going to give you the truck. I think in here, he's got a little food parcel. But this truck was not possible without the people from this community here. Supremacy. So Supremacy is a YouTuber. He does a lot of campaigns for us. And it's
Nice.
him and his followers that have got this truck for you today, mate. You're going to get a cool dinosaur patch crushing a tank. It's the dream.
Dinosaur pet crashing a tank. All of them. Not as close as Serbo-Croatian, but understandable except some
I
words.
thank
For example,
Supremacy
the
and
month
his
name.
subscribers
Oh.
for their help in raising funds for this vehicle, which will help us a lot. Glory to Ukraine. Our division deals with unmanned
how it's
aerial
written.
vehicles. This
I
includes
don't know
the
how to
Sich
find it.
unmanned aerial vehicle system, FPV drones, Mavic,
Been learning
and
some
metrics.
Lithuanian
How
to
long
deny
have you
authority to
been
their
fighting
Orthodox
the Russians?
fundamentalism.
Personally,
Nice.
I've been with the unit since 2014. Then I resigned
To be
and
using the pagan
re-enlisted at the
authority
beginning of the
to
full-scale
beat
invasion.
I guess you've
Orthodox
been
fundamentalism,
involved
good
in
luck
war
with
against
that.
them like
I
most
hope
of your
it
adult
gets.
life, like you know, like.
So I spent my
Why you've
adult
been learning
life
some
at war.
Lithuanian?
What are you going to use the bus
You
for?
are an outsider
How will you
to
make use of
Lithuania
this
then.
truck?
I am
You've been
in the
learning
Sich
Lithuanian
and
to deny
Shark
authority
UAV
to their Orthodox
transportation unit.
fundamentalism.
You know, in your unit, just alone, right?
How would
like,
that
how
make
many
sense?
trucks would you need to have the full number of vehicles?
Our unit is constantly expanding. It is not fully staffed now. We currently have 5 vehicles, but in total we need to up to 10 vehicles.
This truck was fundraised by Jake Bro.
We received Mavics from him.
So these two guys drove the
Yay!
truck. Where did you
Mavics.
come from?
From Estonia.
Estonia. So yeah. So they
A
left
lot of
on
Estonians.
Wednesday morning
A
and
lot of
drove
Estonians
non-stop
right now.
across the whole of Eastern Europe to get here to give you your truck.
Nice. Imagine you like drive on the
Thanks to
street
our
and you see one of
subscribers and
these just,
Jake
like,
Bro
passing
himself for raising money for
around
this vehicle.
on its way to
It will
Ukraine.
perform
I'll piss
tasks
myself.
together with the crew of the Sich and Nemesis unmanned aerial vehicles. Glory to Ukraine.
Beautiful. Monster cake living in the European language. Ah, so the idea is that I'm gonna learn Lithuanian. and then
I'm gonna
gonna
ask him,
apply
but
the knowledge of Lithuanian
does he
to
have
have
an
it
interesting
easier to
story,
speak in
right, that will
Inter-Slavic?
make people
That makes
watching
sense.
around the world go like, wow.
Yeah, thank
that
you.
he's happy
No,
to tell.
Estonians genuine. Like,
Or any
have you
story.
noticed how many of them are Estonians? That's
In
incredible.
2022, Serhiy
really,
and
really,
I
really cool.
served in the same unit, in the infantry near Bakhmut, defending it. Later, when we got to the
To be
47th
fair, if I was
Brigade,
Estonian-
we had the opportunity to choose our specialty a
I feel
little
this is
bit.
really, really good reason
So Serhiy
to be,
became a mortar operator,
so
and I
active
became a
in
drone
support.
operator. And it was very
So
interesting.
it kind of makes sense geographically. doesn't it? Also
Did
makes
you
sense
choose
because
to operate a
objectively,
mortar then? Is that
from
what
like
you
an
wanted to do?
objective, cool
Yes,
minded
because we
standpoint,
were in the
Estonia has
infantry
the
for a
coolest
long
flag
time,
in
and I
all of
advise
Europe, I think.
everyone to try it.
So,
Honestly, a
yeah,
soldier
you-
has to
you
go
don't wanna
through
lose that
this
shit
to
to
understand
some
what it's
Russian
like when you are
crap
being
flags
fired
again.
at from all types of weapons. Let's not say who is doing it. If you are not in the infantry, you don't really understand what can come at you, what it's like, and how people behave in combat in general. But when you have been directly on the front line, you understand a little bit. And I can now teach this to my brothers who were immediately assigned to the artillery.
Belarusians have weird
What
life.
advice
What do they
to,
have?
to all the Ukrainian men that are out there, like considering to join the infantry and assault unit? What advice
Really?
would he give them?
Це звичайно небезпечно, але війна така.
It's dangerous, of course, but war is a dangerous thing in general. And it's all very scary, very frightening, and it's true. But perhaps everyone has to go through it, at least a little bit, in order to learn to fight their fear.
Для того, щоб навчитися, як би це
Oh,
воювати
Belarusian
зі
has some like
своїм страхом.
Epsilon with the
Wow.
wee.
That's cool. Can he tell us like who signed the flag and what's? Like,
I am.
you guys. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And who drove
Wild
this
looking
truck?
thing.
This man.
So Ukrainian
And
has
Mario.
the.
Where did you drive it from? And where are you
Wait,
from?
I'm gonna- Estonia.
From Estonia. So they drove here on Wednesday. They left non-stop the whole way to deliver it here for you today.
Very much. Величезна подяка.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we are this truck. So we have
Флаг можна звертати.
monthly donors to the Sniffing Brigade, and they are the people that fundraised this truck.
Many
Nice.
thanks to the people who are involved, who are helping,
So
and
there's
who
like
are not
proper
indifferent.
monthly donators
We could
who
not have
donate
done it
constantly.
without you.
How wholesome is this? How wholesome is this?
We're sincerely
Guys are
grateful
making a
to
whole
Suomi
change.
Battalion and its subscribers for raising
making a
funds
whole
for
thing.
this vehicle.
Be proud of themselves.
How long has Yura been in the army for?
1 year old.
And what did you do before the war, Yura?
I'm a driver.
So you should be good at driving this.
So you should be good at driving.
Looks like he's got a flag. Oh, amazing. Cool.
This is the flag of our company.
Wow.
Whoa.
And it says like intelligence support. So are they doing like drone reconnaissance as well, or like what?
Yeah.
No. Who drove the truck? Did you? And where have you come from?
Paris.
From Paris. So you
Yay!
so this man here, would you like to meet Yura?
Well, I'm from Estonia.
Paris.
He's
Estonian,
He's Estonian.
French,
Yeah.
Ukrainian.
Nice.
This truck, so it's a Mitsubishi L200, which is very popular with Ukrainians.
Is always daring, bold, nice. Nice. Oh, that's cool.
Thanks for the car to Jake
Oh, no,
Bro
well,
and
that-
his followers.
That's a language I
We
should
really
learn.
need it.
Вона нам дуже потрібна.
So that's it for the main handover from Convoy
That was an
31.
incredible video.
You've seen some amazing units today, using trucks, drones,
GG
even
NATO.
looking after
GG
people that are
NATO.
getting attacked by Russian chemical weapons. Your donations still are so important to helping Ukraine win. You've heard it today from the soldiers themselves, especially as right now there is a large offensive into Kursk, into Russia. And that will be the next stop for the rest of the NAFO trucks as we head east and deliver to the brave units that are fighting to deoccupy Russia. Slava Ukraini.
Incredible. We're going into Russia. We're going into Russia. That is so good. That is so good. I'm genuinely so happy with how NATO is managing to be influential here. It's incredible. It is incredible. Man. Not so deep. Oh, nuclear superpower. Need to figure out a way how to get my name here. Probably gonna donate to like specific fundraisers to get my name there. I want my name there. I wanna be flexing with it. Look. Look what I got. This, how to tell apart different languages in Cyrillic from Russian. So like Ukrainian, Belarusian, and then it's like Bulgarian, and then it's Serbian, and then it's Macedonian, because they have the S apparently. And then this one is Kazakh, and then this one is Mongolian. So, whoa, ho, 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 whoa, ho. I don't know what Russian has specifically, like Russian is... I don't know what they do. I don't know what they have. But yeah, kind of cool, kind of cool. I had no idea. Also don't know how any of these are read. I don't know how to use any of these. I'm not entirely even sure that I know how this E is being used. I don't know if I've seen it quite often in like Duolingo lessons. I have a feeling I haven't. But yeah, that was really, really cool. So remember to do your donations to NAFO, because we gotta be we gotta be helping. We gotta be helping to go balls deep in Kursk. Well, like in Russian, I think. I think you're Macedonian and you didn't know. Is that incorrect? Maybe the list is incorrect. Serbian has, I think, the second one. Or does it? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. I'm lying, I guess. I thought it does have it. Azbuka. Don't they have it? Why did I think they do? Maybe they don't. It looks like I'm eating shit. This is not Azbuka. Oh, I was absolutely certain that they do have it. Yeah, nothing, I guess. Nothing. It's bullshit. They don't have it. It's the idiotic. Ye, like yes, Serbia, but ye. Ye is a in Ukrainian. Oh, fuck. So like you would say, wait. When I say Kosovo, yes, Serbia, for example. Look at my inter-Slavic learning now, right here on stream. Would I write it like this? And would that be correct? Like read out, not grammatically. To read out though, could you read it out properly? The word for truth in Lithuanian is tiesa. It cognates a Slavic word tisheti, calming, tranquil, silent. Oh! Tiesa also has the meaning of direct and straightforward. From this you find the most powerful critique of Putin. Putin is weak because he is unable to speak in line with the Baltic understanding of truth. His truth is indirect and not calming. Oh! I feel if you wanted to make a poetic review of the current geopolitical situation, that would make sense. Yeah. I can imagine that. I can imagine that. Oh, yeah. Like is. Say, yeah, that makes sense. It's more like a Galician feature. Oh, nice. Man, that is so complex. Y'all should just learn Croatian so we can, be on the same page here. One of the most famous hate preachers in Bangladesh has released a new message for his Islamist followers. Child preacher says people shouldn't guard Hindu temples against Islamic attacks. What?
মুসলিম হইছি ঈমান আনছে আল্লাহর জন্য ইব্রাহিমের চেতনা ছিল মূর্তি ভাঙার চেতনা আর আজকে কি কয় মাদ্রাসা ছাত্ররা গিয়ে কি পাহারা দিবে আমাদের মসজিদ পাহারা দেওয়ার ডিলারি নেন মন্দির পাহারা দেওয়ার না আপনাকে দায়িত্ব দেওয়া হয়েছে উপদেষ্টা আজকে বাইতুল মুকাররমের নিরাপত্তা নাই আজকে বাইতুল মুকাররমের নিরাপত্তা দিতে পারতেছেন না মন্দিরের নিরাপত্তা নিয়ে আপনাদের এত মাথা ব্যথা
Sometimes I remember edgy atheists from my edgy atheist phase in high school, and I'm like, yeah, I feel sometimes it kind of made sense. But also very Visegrad to be posting this video. I just noticed it's Visegrad. Very Visegrad, very Visegrad. Because usually they are focused mostly on posting European stuff and stuff like that, something that has relevance to Europe. This one has nothing in relevance to Europe, but it's, it's a man being very angry. So he's like, yeah, look at this Muslim man being very angry, pay attention. Yeah, I know it's a child preacher, so I'm guessing closer to 13, but his voice says more.
জিজিয়া হলো আইয়াদি ওয়াহুম সাগিরুন যেটা লাঞ্ছনা অবস্থায় দেয়া হয় যেটা কি যে আমি মুসলমান হচ্ছি না এইজন্য তোমাদেরকে জিজিয়া দেই নতজানু হয়ে থাকি মুসলমানরা কি জিজিয়া দেয় মুমিনরা জিজিয়া দিবে তাহলে ট্যাক্স আর জিজিয়া কি এক হইছে ট্যাক্স তো মুমিন মুসলমান সবাই মিলে দেয় হিন্দু বৌদ্ধ খ্রিস্টান সবাই মিলে দেয় আজকে আপনি মন্দির পাহারা দেওয়ার সবক দেন আর এরা আমার দেশ ভাগ করার
29
পাহারা দেওয়ার কথা বলেন
child preacher but he's 29. Did Visegrad get messed up about his age? Did they also see him and they were like 13 or 31? I'm gonna guess 13. I'm guessing that's what happened. Oh, that is so silly. A child preacher, man's 29. You know what that reminds me of? Not a funny story at all, actually. But we had a rape case here in Croatia. And screenshots of the documents from the rape case became public, and the rapist had his sentence lowered because of his young age. The dude's 32 years old. The dude's 32. But like, young age. You expect it's like a 15-year-old or something, right? You know, a stupid teenager, dumbass teenager. So you're like, yeah, okay, no, grown-ass man, a fucking grown-ass man. It's like that child preacher, but he's 29. That's not a child. Hezbollah launched a massive ballistic missile at Tel Aviv this morning. Israel's David Sling air defense. Oh, that's kind of a badass name for it. That's badass. Like, you gotta admit, that's badass. That's quite badass. But yeah, hey, GG. Muslim-Turkish occupation of Balkan and Muslim occupation of India. Yeah, they were here. Serbs actually do derive a lot of their national pride from the fact that they kind of stopped the occupation of Balkan lands by the Ottomans, because like Serbia was not as occupied as certain other parts of the Balkans were. So yeah, they see it as a big part of their, what's the word, national identity, the fact that they fought off the invasion. At the same time, it's kind of problematic because while they see themselves as heroes for stopping the invasion, and they also see Bosniak specifically as Turkified Serbs. So you know how they have the whole thing with like, oh yeah, Croatia is not actually Croatian nation, it's just Catholic Serbs. In their minds, Bosnians are Turkified Serbs. And during the war in the 1990s, the idea was that we can genocide Bosniaks because Bosniaks are just basically Serbs that have been brainwashed to be on the Turkish side. So that's why they, you know, they kind of made excuses for them to be attempting a genocide of Bosnian Muslims. In very similar way as to how they made the excuse of executing Croatians because all Croatians were supposed to be Ustaše. So it was a way to like take a group that you're fighting against, even though the group isn't even relevant in this context. Like Ustaše haven't existed for years. We butchered them all at Bleiburg. But you take a group that you know the people hate and you use this group as a motivation to kill people of another group. Very similar to what Russians do today with the idea of Ukrainian Nazis. Most of their defense systems have that type of names. It's kind of badass. It's kind of badass, isn't it? Kind of like the symbolism of it. I don't know. Oh shit, wait.
Valor 48 redeem change the flag. https://www.goods.com/media/catalog/product/cash/5E445787 FAF 8897 L 535 F455
F26/1325007.jpg. They actually have a saying. Listen. Milwaukee. Serbia, Tokyo to Milwaukee, which is like Serbia goes from Tokyo to Milwaukee. And yeah, Japan is Serbs. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It is Serbs. Everything is Serbia. The place you're in at right now is Serbia. You're just a Serb. You don't know it yet, but you will get to know it. Jesus, by the way, also, don't know if you knew this, but Jesus was a Serb, famously. And Serbs are just Russified Slovenians. Ooh. I mean, Slovenia as a nation doesn't have the same type of imperialism, irredentism, chauvinism, fascism in their bones. I feel Slovenes would just go, nah, we don't claim them. We don't want them. Slovenes are rather chill. I think Slovenes might be the most chill nation in Balkans, which is also why Slovenes happen to be the nation that is the most successful. They don't participate in this shit. The greatest thing Slovenia ever did when it comes to their nationalism was that they caused the breakup of Yugoslavia. It was the Slovenian delegation that caused the breakup of Yugoslavia. But apart from that, yeah, they're really, really chill as people overall. By the way, give me a second, I have to open the flag thing. Finland, being the most Aryan country in the globe, is the statistics say 80% of our population have genes for blonde hair, while 89% inherited blue eyes? What the hell? Okay, but like, I don't know if you guys ever considered this, but blue-eyed people actually look rather scary. So I'm feeling if we want to, you know, have a group that we kind of praise as our future overlords, I'm not seeing blue-eyed people being bad. Like, if we ever get invaded and I have to bow down in front of a blue-eyed person, nah. It's not happening. It's not happening. I'm sorry for the unfortunate blue-eyed people here in the mix. It's just, I cannot. I cannot, my dude. I cannot. There's something about eyes being blue that just makes me feel like they are unable to stand a lot of like light changes and stuff. It makes me feel you're weaker. And I do have some blue-eyed friends whose existence supports my thesis on this, alright? Like, do you have blue eyes? You know, like when you walk out in the sun and you're like, eh. Or you walk out and there's fresh snow around and it's, you know, all light and white and you're like, eh. Blue-eyed people are fucking weak. Fucking weak, my dude. Fucking weak. Like, I'm less evolved. Fun story about telling. You don't judge people? I do judge people by the color of their eyes. I fucking do. I am scared. My best friend has blue eyes. My best friend has blue eyes. Sometimes I'm fucking terrified. You know, sometimes it's like the light from the environment plays with them in such a way that they look like just two like dots. That's that. Terrifying. Fucking terrifying, right? Whereas brown eyes, they look calm and they look inviting. If I had like a therapist or someone, I would look for someone with brown eyes specifically, never a blue-eyed person. Just scary. Scary. Fuck, wait, I didn't click on some messages that we had. But also like the whole thing was like, oh, what is the most Aryan country? I don't know why you would be looking into that. Unless it was a means to try and tell the Nazis of other countries that they're not actually belonging to the proper Aryan group. Maybe that, maybe that. What do you think of Zizek? I like Zizek. Oh, nice, pretty! Finland, nice! I like Zizek. Zizek is... I saw one description of Zizek. Which was that Zizek is basically every single Balkan taxi driver you will ever meet. And I love that description, because he is, right? Like, he's based, in a lot of stuff he says, he's based. But I feel he's based in a way that you would expect almost. But also, it might be just because, you know, it's people coming from almost the same culture. So a lot of his views are actually views that I am very, very comfortable with. I think he's based on a lot of stuff. Ukraine is from some river in Germany to some river in Japan. Nice, fair, proper. Due to a new recent Russian law, you can literally rape 18-year-olds and go to war without ever visiting judges. And if you come back because of injury, you can repeat that cycle over and over. Oh shit, it's like they... you know how when they sent a murderer to the front line and then he returned and murdered more people and went back to the front line? Shit. Terrifying. Terrifying. In a way, it makes you almost go, oh shit, I wish more of their people return back home after the war. I hope they don't join the cube. I hope they come back home, just so the rest of Russian society sees what it has been inflicting on everyone else. Like, deal with your trash yourself. Putin solving birth rates in prisons at the same time. Have you seen that that advertisement? The Russian one, which is like... Fuck, how does it go? I don't know who posted it. I don't know who posted it. I don't remember. But there's a woman and she's looking at a man in the bar. They're both like relatively adult, let's say 40 years old, right? Really good looking woman, really good looking man. And she's looking at him and she's like, oh, this is my dream man. And he shows her that he doesn't have a ring. And she shows him that she doesn't have a ring either. And he's like, So they like look at each other for a second. And then he gets up. And you expect that he's gonna go to this really, really good looking woman. No. You know what he does instead? He goes to the woman behind another table. And this woman has a kid next to her. She also doesn't have a ring, but she has a child. And the man sits next to her and he's like, I think it's like the house mortgage rates or something. Basically, it's better for you if you get married to a woman that has a child already, because financially you will be helped more by the country. So the idea is that as a woman, if you want to attract your perfect man, you should be having a child, because with a child you are offering your perfect man a better financial situation. So just have kids, even if you don't have a husband, just have kids and then use these kids to attract men in your life. Which, like, gorgeous. Just gorgeous, just very accepted. Better to use critical race theory on Hitler's racial theories and apply to his hatred on Slavic people, and prove based on this how Putin's term of denazification is incorrect, and define it properly. I feel, like if you would want to write a very detailed essay on that, I feel it could work. There has been, who knows what is the source of the video? That really, really good source of video on YouTube where someone explains the denazification claims coming from Russia throughout like years, and how they didn't just use it now against Ukrainians, they were using these accusations before too. So whenever they were like beefing with another nation and trying to present themselves in a good light, they were being like, oh, these people are Nazis, these people are actually Nazis, right? Like, we fought off the Nazis, but they were the Nazis, so they are Nazis now. Very similar to what they're doing right now with trying to create, I don't know if you've seen that, they're not going to be invited to some commemoration regarding World War II. Russians are not going to be invited, right? Which like makes perfect sense, because Russians worked together with Nazis, so why would you want to have them at events? But people still have this idea of Russians defeating Nazis, Russians themselves as a nation defeating Nazis, but when it comes to the reality of Nazi collaboration, they put that blame onto every single other republic in the Soviet Union, but not in Russians themselves, even though Russians had like a whole fucking state for Nazis specifically. So, yeah. Overall, if you wanted a very detailed essay on that, that would be incredible. I feel there's a lot of really, really good sources online. They can abuse children while their parents are at war. Ethical and I don't know anymore. Yeah, like, governments will have to sweeten the pot for just have kids tactics. Yeah, true. To be fair, in Mother Russia, children are only your problem for like, what, 16 years of life, and then you can give them up for military. So it's not really even a long-term commitment in that sort of an extent. You raise a kid for 16 years, and then you get, I don't know, a kilo of frozen fish, and, you know, you're free, you're good to go. What else could you need from your government? Dear Putin, let's speed up to the part where you kill yourself in a bunker. Fair. Fair. Just like jump over it. Term denazification has a proper meaning in this critical race theory. It is abused, though. I would love to read on that if you have some sources. That sounds like an interesting thing to look into more. Mostly, I know that it's being abused because, well, you know, of Russians who have used it before already to have a reason to fight against countries that they see as enemies. Huh? Somebody told me the other day, they beat Hitler, they beat Napoleon. That's what they do. 3 of his active campaign allies were spreading the wildest Russian propaganda slop since day one of Russian invasion into Ukraine. They were not disinformed. They were bringing translated talking points straight from Russian TV, which were then retranslated back on Russian TV. Oh, it's like what's the name of that woman? Candace Owens. Oh man, I saw her recently bringing out really, really wild conspiracies about the origin of Ukraine itself. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah. They just take like conspiracies from the Russian space, and then they just give it to English-speaking population, translate it, and English speakers, because they haven't heard of this trash before, this is very new to them, and they don't know how to fight against it. Hey, MS, hey, Lithuanians? Yeah, Lithuanians have been doing an incredible job. Lithuanians have been doing an incredible job, really. Oh, you're developing this critical race theory yourself? Nice! Well, if you ever create something that I can read, I would love to see it. I would love to learn more. Estonia and Finland. Yeah, we read this. Developing plans to close the Gulf of Finland to Russian ships and block their access to the Baltic Sea. According to Estonian head of state, in a comment to Helsingin Sanomat, holy shit, countries can close the sea to the Russian fleet due to security considerations. Based, close it. Close it. Naval Lake. That's Naval Lake. Close it. This is not an imminent or a predetermined outcome they are working on achieving. I disagree with not the poster who made this comment, but with the idea that this should not be imminent. They should do it immediately. Just close everything to Russians. Why do you need them in your waters? What sort of a good thing are they bringing to you? Nothing. American rapper is holding a concert in Moscow in October. Oh, great. Oh, great. Incredible. And then he's gonna get arrested, and then he's gonna get exchanged for some war criminal. That's gonna be lovely. That's gonna be amazing. Just, oh, can't wait. Cannot wait for it. G7 foreign ministers meet in New York and condemn in the strongest possible terms Iran's export and Russia's procurement of Iranian ballistic missiles. Nice. I love this. Nice, lovely. Strongest possible terms, guys. So far, we have been doing words of condemnation a bit weaker. Now we do it strongly. Do you feel that, Iran? We do it strongly this time. In strongest possible terms. Oh no. How fucking stupid are they? Georgia must have eternal embargo on supplying dictators. Austria too. Oh yeah, I feel, critical race theory is different. I don't know if you guys remember, like, the critical race theory panic in USA. Well, they didn't know what it was. They didn't know what it was, so they didn't know how to analyze it. And then they created a whole panic online about critical race theory being taught in schools and about it teaching people of white guilt or something. What is this? He set his own vehicle on fire as punishment for using it without proper orders from his commander. That's ridiculous. That's a good vehicle. Shut the fuck up with that. Don't destroy vehicles just like that. I really should clean out the sources I have here. But yeah, wait, do we have videos on this? Theory. I was reading a really, really good book on this a while ago. But yeah. Academic field focus on the relationship between social conceptions of race and ethnicity, social and political laws, and media. CRT considers racism to be systemic in various laws and rules, not based only on individuals' prejudices. So, yeah, something, especially like, I don't know, USA having a whole panic over teaching it seems exceptionally laughable, really. But yeah, they also had a thing of not really understanding what it is. Hitler admired and was inspired by American racial laws when he was developing his racial laws. Yeah. I heard he used something. It was like a specific part of his plan copied from USA or something. I remember people bringing it up, so, yep. Bro, and they say he was assassinated. Received an envelope with a bullet this morning. The envelope was delivered directly to the government office. Holy shit. I mean, technically it is, right? It is an assassination, even if... No, it is an assassination attempt? I have no fucking idea. Why are we looking at Peskov? It is impossible to force Russia to peace. Russia is a supporter of peace. Oh, Vlad Vexel actually did an overview of Ukrainian peace plan, if you want to look into that.
Как Кремль считает, можно ли Россию принудить именно к миру?
Нет, я и говорю, что позиция попытки принуждения России к миру является абсолютно фатальной ошибкой, потому что принудить Россию к миру невозможно. Россия, собственно, является сторонницей мира, но с условием обеспечения основ ее безопасности и выполнения тех задач, которые стоят перед специальной военной операцией. Но без достижения этих целей принудить Россию невозможно. С моей точки зрения, такая позиция.
Idiot. Just like there's systemic racism in the US, there are still many systemic discrimination towards Slavs and Eastern Europeans. That too. Europe itself absolutely does have a lot of cases of racism, which I'm kinda... There's something sad about the fact that I don't feel the conversation is going to be coming into light anytime soon, really. Which is, it's rather messy, because we have no bigger political parties ready to talk about the racism within European systems, you know. I know in Croatia we have nothing, basically. We have nothing, we have no one even calling for the conversation to happen. A very popular position here regarding that is just like, why would we be racist? We're all white people. Which, you know that joke about like Europeans pointing out that America is very, very racist and then saying that Europe is never that racist, Europe would never be like that, and then you ask them their opinions on Romani people and they just go ballistic. It's very like that. And I think what the last 2 years have shown us, 2 to 3 years, is that there's a similar sentiment in Western Europe towards Eastern Europeans specifically. Like if you hear a lot of the way that these people talk about Baltics, for example, it is wild. I had no idea the Baltics were so discriminated against, genuinely. I don't know, here we see them in a rather good light. I had no idea that people have this idea of like small nations that were basically underdeveloped properly, and then USSR brought them civilization. Wild, just fucking wild. Remove Germans because they're not Slavs, like we, then hate Ukrainians because they are Slavs, not like us. Yeah, like that. Yeah, very American view of racism. True, absolutely. Like we can't be racist because they're the same skin color. Yeah, but like at the same time, huh? I don't know, because like you have even like I know the cases of like racism in Croatia, for example, right? So you have cases of racism against Serbs where people will genuinely tell you that it's in their blood to commit massacres, and that is why you should never do business with Serbs and you should never trust them, and we should always have military prepared because they're going to invade us, right? The idea is that like genuinely in their genetics they have this will to just cause bloodshed, which like I don't know if you pointed out to our people that they would recognize it as racism properly. would they call it nationalism? What would they call it? I don't know. But I don't even know like where the line would be between the two in that regard. We are now approaching the third winter in the spore. Russia is again trying to destroy our energy sector. And this fall they were even more cynical. They are prepared to target 3 of our nuclear power plants. We have this information and evidence. If Russia is ready to go this far, it means that nothing is valuable to Moscow. Man. I mean, it is, but man. Russians dislike Ukrainians and Poles. Poles dislike Ukrainians and Russians. Belarusians are liked everywhere. Pretend Belarusian. It's like the reports, when you look at the reports about Balkan wars, isn't it? I just had a conversation with someone about this recently. So the conversation started about the current fights between Croats and Serbs, right? Because Serbs made a claim recently that Croats have no claim to their own land. So it was like, oh, why do Serbs hate Croats this much? Aren't they all just, you know, basically the same nation with the same history? And I go like, no, the Serbs invaded us because they were trying to keep their imperialist project of Yugoslavia going. Serbs invaded us. We are not in the same position at all when it comes to that. Like, it makes no sense to pretend that you don't know the difference. And the dude goes, oh yeah, but like, weren't you all under Austro-Hungarian Empire back in the days? Like, what? What? Like, because of that, you're unable to see the positions that our nations had in the last war for independence before, because like years before that we were all under the Austro-Hungarian Empire. You think we never developed as nations? Like before the Austro-Hungarians and after the Austro-Hungarians, you think we didn't exist? We were just like a mush? How does it make sense? And I feel in a similar way was reported when it comes to countries that were in the so-called Russian sphere of influence, right? A lot of them were just shown as countries bickering between each other for territory. Like, no one likes anyone and everyone wants each other's territory, and you cannot tell who is right and who is wrong in these situations because they all have different versions of the story. But the reality is that like you just look into it for a few minutes and you're going to be able to tell, really. You're going to be able to figure it out. All Western European languages have a word that is an ethnonym for Slavs. It means also slave. Oh yeah, I heard that, yeah. We're associated with slavery based on the structure of Western European languages. This is connected to the well-known historical fact of the Slavic slave trade. Yeah, so... Oh wait, you have videos on that? If you have videos on that, I would love to... Wait, would it be on YouTube? Oh, you have a link. Nice. Thank you. How long? 20 minutes? I do have to leave in around 20 minutes.
Before any meaningful...
I have to leave in around 20 minutes. That's like, almost good. Nobody likes or hates them particularly. They just exist. Oh, that too. Like Montenegrins. They just sleep around. No one hates Montenegrins. What has a Montenegrin person ever done to you? Nothing. They overslept any chance to do you anything bad.
Today we have a really exclusive access.
You know, they have a competition. In Montenegro for the longest time. One can be just lazy in bed, and what they do is they bring out mattresses and they just like place them outside and they just lay outside, and you are winner if you spend the longest time in your bed.
Despite being too few, these systems have already become an integral part of Ukrainian artillery. While serving as a tool of destruction, they are also a symbol of support. But most importantly, 1 GMLRS keeps the spirits of Ukrainian infantry high all week.
Trump was offended by Zelensky's visit.
Now, what qualifies
Meeting
as a
between Trump and
target for
Zelensky is not
HIMARS?
scheduled.
As
I feel it
mentioned,
shouldn't be
could range
scheduled.
from an
I'm gonna
airfield
be
to a
fully
dagger
honest with
with
you.
a machine
I'm
gun
feeling
that
it
poses
shouldn't
a
be
threat
scheduled.
to the infantry. It's crucial
I'm
to
feeling
note that
Trump
the target must be confirmed by at least
and
2 of the following,
what's his
from
name?
the ground,
JD
sky, or
Vance. I'm
satellite
feeling they
reconnaissance.
spat on Ukraine so much. I'm feeling Zelensky shouldn't waste time on them. Yeah, and like I don't know, because you do a meeting with them. The fuck is that meeting going to be? You know, they're going to be idiots.
I could say it's
That's
pretty
that.
cool. Even cooler when
There's
you realize
nothing
that they can't do
meaningful
anything
you will
to
get
you.
from either of them because they both support
Fortunately,
Russia.
Ukrainian
So
fighters quite
I'm
regularly and
GG with
successfully
them not
use HIMARS.
wasting time
So
on
we gathered the most
pretending
spectacular and
that
effective footage of this MLRS in action.
Trump's appeasement is going to,
Due
you know,
to the high accuracy, HIMARS can hit enemy
create a position
convoys.
where he can
This footage
have
shows
good
how Ukrainian
ties
HIMARS
with
operators
countries
destroyed
that
the Russian
USA used to
convoy
be an
with
ally
precise
of.
hits.
I do think it's important to make them aware that they are losing countries. They are losing allies if they elect the clown. Is Trump winning this election? I hope not. I hope not. I don't know, but I hope not. I don't know, I am concerned. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am concerned.
Russian
I
radar
think
complexes also
we've seen
often
a lot
suffer
of
from this
Russian
US-made
influence in
MLRS.
USA. We've
This
seen
is
a lot
how
of them.
HIMARS hits the Russian radar.
We've seen a lot of
air
Russian
defense
influence
complex.
specifically against the Democrats, and we've seen a lot of people in USA fall for that shit. So I am kind of worried, but I do hope he's not going to win.
This footage shows the destruction of a Russian Zoopark 1M counter-battery radar. The vehicle was located on August 24th by soldiers of the 15th Separate Brigade of Artillery Reconnaissance, Black Forest, and was successfully targeted using the M142 HIMARS. Bridges can't withstand HIMARS missile attacks either. These Russians witnessed the successful work of the MLRS on the bridge over the Same River. Pontoon crossings? Easy prey. Here, HIMARS hit the Russian training ground in the eastern direction with 2 powerful missiles. The destruction of the Russian air defense system Buk by an M142 HIMARS strike in Zaporizhzhia Oblast. HIMARS versus Russian. Panzer S-1
Though
air
I do
defense
think she's
system,
dealing with it
1-0.
quite well, to be honest. I think she's dealing with it quite well, and I think whoever is planning her campaign is doing it well. Her and what's the name of the dude? What is the name of the dude? Running for vice president. He also seems to be really good in dealing with yeah, Waltz, shit, thank you. Yes, true. He seems to be really good at dealing with criticism thrown his way too. So I don't know, whoever's training them is doing a good job. Whoever's telling them what to do is kind of good. Oak tree instead of coconut, we don't.
Introduction into
we
the
have
history of the
nothing similar
Slavic
here.
slave trade can be conducted. First, we must address the etymology of the word slave. But even before that, this video was made possible thanks to my patrons and YouTube members. If you want to support what I do, it would be tremendously appreciated if you checked out my Patreon or the YouTube membership. Now, back to the video. Latin had multiple words that could mean slave, like mancipium and ancilla, but the most common Latin word for slave was servus, or servi in plural. This word survived in usage even after the fall of the
He sounds
Western
like
Roman
Serbi.
Empire, because Latin still largely remained the governing language of both the state
I'm going to use
and
this
the
in
church.
my
Of course, some new Germanic
in
words
my
for slaves were sometimes used interchangeably
arguments
with the
that
Latin ones,
Serbs are
like
just
theo
slaves
in
and
Old
nothing else.
English or thrall in Old Norse, but largely in most written documents, the Latin word
Did you fall out of
servus
oak tree
remained
with
the
me?
most dominant
Fuck did
word
you say
for
I do?
slave
Why don't
in
we
early
have something
medieval
like that?
Europe. However, this dominance of the word servus at a time when slavery lacked the standardization and uniformity of the old Roman system meant that the word began to be increasingly ambiguous in its definition. In other words, there are a lot of different types of servitude, and the word servus, ever since the 5th century, was increasingly ambiguous about the type of servitude it was referring to. As Alice Rio states, it is almost impossible
No,
to tell
apparently
what
there's did you
exactly
fall
the word servus was
out?
intended to
Did you
describe
fall
when
from
it is
Mars?
found in an early medieval text
Like the
without further
planet?
contextual information. For example, when the law
And there's
books
one,
of
did you
King
fall from a
Stephen
branch?
mention some
But it's
servi
used
in
more
charge of the
against
castle,
like
these are
children.
most certainly
Did you
royal
fall down from a
servants,
branch?
not slaves.
It's
However,
used,
when
I
in the
think,
same
similarly
time
to like,
period,
did you hurt
King
your head when you were a kid?
orders that the escaped servi be captured, punished, and returned to their masters.
Did you fall out
he
of
was
a
most
tree?
definitely
Spas
referring to
Kruška.
slaves,
Yeah,
not royal
actually.
servants. To add even more confusion,
Yeah,
during the
true,
early to
true,
high Middle Ages, a linguistical shift occurred where the word
that is familiar, that is
servus
familiar.
started to increasingly mean serf rather than slave. And by the late Middle Ages, servus was almost exclusively used
There's
to
the
refer
stupid
to serfs,
opinions all
not
at once
slaves.
with short
In
and
fact,
answers.
the
I
modern
think
English
they've
word
been
serf
doing it
comes from the Latin word
rather
servus.
well, to be
This
honest, so
changing
far.
of the meaning of the word servus over the course of the Middle
I
Ages
think they've been doing
presented
it
a
rather well.
problem. Because
Not perfectly,
even though,
of course.
yes, certain kind of
But
feudal
I don't know.
serfdoms could
I was
resemble
rather impressed
slavery,
by certain
serfdom in
answers that they
practice
gave.
and in medieval legal terms was
Spас
never
месяца.
actual slavery.
Spас
Therefore,
месяца.
the word servus
Yeah,
could
that
no
would
longer
be
be
like if you
used
pass
to mean
Mars.
slave, and
Mars-
so
Mars
a new
would be-
word had to be adopted.
And yeah,
There
Kruška.
were several candidates for
Kruška
this
too.
new
Why-
word.
why a
For
patri?
example, the Latin word for
Why
a
Kruška?
captured person, captivus, was sometimes used in the Middle Ages as the word for a slave, either in combination with the word servus or on its own. The previously mentioned other Latin words, which could mean slave, were also sometimes used. However, what eventually became the most common type of word to define a slave was not some kind of a Latin word, but an ethnonym. To explain, enslaved
What
people
is
were
an
often
oak
recorded
tree
as
in
captivus or
Ukraine?
servus or both, plus an ethnonym, e.g. servus captivus
Kruška?
vel or
Kruška?
captivus sardus. After
Kruška
a while,
in Croatian.
especially the
Kruška,
slaves being
like-
captured and sold in a particular area where regularly the same ethnicity, these written records became abbreviated to
Kruška.
just the ethnonym. So, in areas like in early medieval England, where most of the slaves captured were Welsh,
Yeah, the other
Latin
ones are
word for
wrong.
Welsh,
The other ones are
whale,
incorrect,
became
actually.
for a bit synonymous with the word slave. Same thing happened in medieval Genoa with the ethnonym Sardus, meaning Sardinian, and with many other ethnonyms in other slave trading areas. However, there was one ethnonym to rule them all.
Kruška is like
One
type of
ethnonym
cup.
that would not only become
Wait,
synonymous
is that
with the
those
word
je?
slave, it is where the word slave comes from. And that ethnonym is Slav,
Kruša?
or Sklavos in medieval Latin,
But like,
or
isn't
Sklavos in Byzantine Greek. But to understand how the Slavic ethnonym became the foundation for almost every Western language
that
word
not
for
je
slave,
and
we
not
must
sh?
talk about the history of the medieval Slavic slave trade.
Yeah, it's je. It's je. I knew it.
The first undisputed
No.
appearance of the Slavs on
correct.
the written record was in the mid-6th century on the Byzantine northern border. The Byzantines wrote that these people were called Sklavenoi
from the
or
moon is closer
Sklavoi
to
when
being a
shortened,
lunatic,
or
right
when
to look-
Latinized
Oh.
Sklaveni or Sklavi when shortened. These Latin and Greek names for the Slavs were
Fuck, there's
obviously
something
derived from
similar
the
to that
Slavic
in
endonym
Slovenian.
Slovane, which either came from the Slavic word slovo,
There's something
meaning word,
similar
or
to that in
slava, meaning
Slovenian.
glory.
Being
There
a
were slight
lunatic,
variations in the
being
way the Slavic
connected to
ethnonym
the
was
moon, but I
written in
can't
the early
remember the
medieval
phrase.
texts, but
But I
over
remember,
the course of the Middle
I had a
Ages, the
cousin
shortened
who
version
used to
for
do
the
like
name, that is Sklavoi in Greek
sleepwalking,
and Sklavi in Latin, became the standard.
and the
The
term
early
for
Slavs of the 6th
sleepwalking
century
is
proved
connected to
increasingly
the
bothersome
moon.
for the Byzantines,
In both
mainly
Slovenian and
because the
Croatian, we
Slavs
call it
were
mjesečarenje.
unified, which meant it was
Like
really
moon,
hard for the
moon,
Byzantines to
moon,
control
something.
them. If Byzantium made peace with
Verb
one
derived
tribe,
from the
there were
moon.
10 other tribes that it didn't apply to. As a result of
So
this
so overall,
disjointed
like
nature
a
of the
term for a
Slavs, there were
lunatic is
some
like
Slavic tribes that
derived
held
from that.
frequent independent raids into the Byzantine Balkan territories,
Those
while
are
other
rzesze.
Slavic
Oh, so
tribes
it's like
settled in those
kružka.
territories.
Kružka
Some tribes allied
is a cup,
themselves
but
with the various
kružka
Central European
is a
peoples like the
pan,
Kutrigus,
which is a
the
fruit that you
Gepids,
get
and the
and it's rather
Lombards,
tasty.
and fought with them in frequent wars, all while some Slavic tribes allied themselves
A
with the
lunatic,
Byzantines
yes,
and fought
holy shit.
alongside them. And some
How did I not
entrepreneurial
connect it
Slavs
to like
simply
Luna,
fought
which
as
is moon in
mercenaries for anyone
Slovenian
who would
until
hire
now?
them.
Yes,
This
yes, yes, true.
disjointed nature of the Slavs,
True, true,
combined
true.
with
They
the
say
6th
Luna for the
century
moon, which is
political
the incorrect.
instability
We
of
say
Central
mesec.
Europe resulted
How do
in
you
a
say it? Do you
structure
say
in which
mesec?
Slavs
How do you
could
say
be
for the
easily
moon? How do you call the
captured
moon?
through frequent wars
Call
and
it
raids
mesec,
and
like
sold
this.
into the Mediterranean slave markets, which were still alive
Mesec.
even after the fall
So we
of
have
the Western Roman
mesečariti.
Empire. Capturing slaves in
which
wars
is
and raids,
to
however,
sleepwalk,
wasn't a new thing, nor
but
was
we
it
don't
initially
have
more common in Central and Eastern Europe than in
lunatic
other parts of Europe. The Byzantines
the
and
right from
Sassanids
that.
often
We don't
enslaved
have a
each
word
other's
for a
people during
lunatic
war,
from
as
the
did the
moon.
various post-Roman Germanic kingdoms.
Месяц.
With that
nice.
said, between the 7th
Cat's
to
name
8th
is Luna.
centuries, there was a steady increase in
Actually
written
cute,
documents
though.
mentioning Slavic slaves. To give some examples, there is a 7th century
Bro.
account of Justinian II selling Slavic slaves in Anatolia. There is an 8th century mention
No,
of Slavic
if
slaves
Slavic
being sold
slaves
in
were sold all
Thessaloniki.
over,
There is
that makes me
another
feel like
8th
there's
century
Slavic
mention
blood
of
in
Bavarian
every
slave raids
single
into Thuringia,
area of the
today's
world and
Slovenia,
every single
and there is
nation
also a
existing,
particularly
because of course we
interesting mention
mingled
of a
with the
Slavic
local
female
population.
slave in
Slavs
the
are really
Freising
hot people.
diocese called Sashka the
Give me a
Slav.
second, I have to
However,
answer a
the
phone call.
steady increase of Slavic slaves in the 7th to 8th centuries was nothing compared to the 9th and 10th centuries' explosion of Slavic slavery. This explosion of Slavic slavery in the 9th and 10th century can be attributed to multiple factors. The first and most important factor was the establishment of the quite rich Islamic Caliphate, which had a huge demand for slaves. Second, unlike in the
Alright, I'm
south
back.
or
Gotta
west,
send a
political
quick
power
message.
in
Just
Eastern
give me a
Europe
sec.
was still very disjointed, meaning it was much easier to raid the numerous Slavic tribes and polities for slaves than more established larger kingdoms. Third, the newly consolidated
Luna,
Frankish
is
Empire,
Sandy
even
here?
though largely
Let me
moving
voice
away
note.
from
Oh,
slavery in favor of serfdom, was in a perfect position to not
Echo?
necessarily use the slaves they captured on their eastern frontier, but sell them into the Mediterranean slave markets.
do we
Fourth,
say echo in
considering that by
Croatian?
this point all the major religions
But yeah, what I wanted
forbade
to
the
say is that
enslavement
there's
of
Slavic
people
blood in
adhering to
every
the
single
same
nation
faith,
existing,
the
which
still
means that
largely
all of
pagan
you are
Slavs
fucking
proved to be the
Croats.
perfect
You just
source
don't
of
know it,
pagan
alright?
slaves.
All of this,
Lastly, fifth,
Croatia,
the emergence
because
of
our
the
slaves
Viking
were
raiding and
sold
trading
all
network in the
around
9th century
and we mingled with the
opened
local
up new
population
trade
because
routes in
we are
Eastern
so
Europe
hot.
through which
Alright,
Slavic
we
slaves
are
could
so
be more
hot.
easily
You think
captured
German
and
women
sold to
saw
Byzantium or the
Slavic
Caliphate.
slaves
And
there?
so,
And you
due to
think they
all
were
these
like,
reasons,
I'm
the
gonna go
Slavic
sleep
slave
with my
trade blew
husband
up
who's
in
all
the 9th
pale and
10th
blonde and
centuries as
blue
the
eyed?
lands
No,
of
they
Eastern
didn't.
Europe proved to be
No,
the
they
perfect
didn't.
source of new
No, no,
slaves.
no, no, no.
Due
Slavs
to
took
this
all
boom
of our
in
women.
Slavic slavery,
I
new
swear to
trade
God,
routes
we
developed
made
that
children in
began
every
Eastern
single
Europe
place that we
and
were in.
flowed into the markets of the
Greater Croatia,
Mediterranean,
all of
Black
this.
and Caspian seas. These trade routes could initially be
echo in
divided into
Croatian?
two major areas of operation, the Western trade routes and the Eastern trade routes. In the east, the Slavic slave trade was largely dictated by Vikings, known as Varangians in Eastern Europe, the Byzantines, and nomadic polities like the Khazars, Volga-Bulgars, and Hungarians. The majority of slaves from Eastern Europe were sold to the Islamic Caliphate. It should, therefore,
Writing a quick
not be
message, give me a
surprising
sec.
that many of the written records we have about these Eastern trade routes come from Arab explorers and geographers like Ibn
Right.
Fadlan or Ibn
Also have to
Rusta,
leave
the
soon
latter
because
of whom stated that the
dude
Varangians raid
fixing
the
the house is gonna
Sakaliba,
be
the
here
Slavs,
soon-ish.
sailing in their ships until they come upon them, take them captives and sell them in Khazaria and in Bulgaria. They have no cultivated fields and they live
Bulgaria,
by
I was
pillaging
in
the land of the
Bulgaria.
Sakaliba.
Echo.
They have no dwellings, villages or cultivated
Croatian.
fields. They earn their living
Odjek.
by trading. They treat their slaves
Odjek.
well and dress them suitably.
Odzvenia.
Because
Oh, that
for
would be
them,
like
they are an
odzvajanie.
article of trade. Ibn
Which
Rusta
is
also
similar
mentions
to
the
that.
Hungarians,
You would use it
or
for
in
more
other
like
words,
ting.
the Magyars, while they
Or
were
Odjek
still
would be
living
more
in
like
the Pontic
voice.
steppe. They,
But
the
yeah,
Magyars,
basically that,
are
basically
lords
that.
over all the Sakaliba who neighbor them and impose a
My
heavy
house is not
tribute
broken,
on
it's
them.
just really old.
These Sakaliba are
So it needs to be.
completely at their mercy, like prisoners. They
Fixed
make
every once in a
piratical
while, and
raids
now
on
we're
the
fixing
Sakaliba
the
and then
central
follow the
heating
coast of the
system.
Black Sea with their captives to a port in Byzantine territory named Kerch. When the Magyars bring their prisoners to Kerch, the Greeks go there to trade. The Magyars sell their Sakaliba slaves and buy Byzantine brocade, woolen rugs, and other products of
Hungarians?
the Byzantine Empire. Slave raiding parties of Khazars, Bulgars,
Bastards.
Hungarians, Varangians, and rival Slavic tribes were a commonplace in medieval Eastern Slavic
I'm
lives.
thinking
There
have
were
more
even
than one way
mentions
to
of
name and
Slavic
describe it.
raiding
Yeah, that
parties
too, that
along the
too.
Danube River, which sold Slavic slaves to
That's rather
Byzantium.
interesting though when you
The
do comparisons
Byzantines
of
also
languages. I don't know
often
if you ever did
enslaved
it.
the Slavs living on their northern border. As
But like when you
Yuval
do
Rotman
comparisons
states,
of
for the
languages and
Byzantines,
different
the taking of
words
captives and
have
their
like
enslavement seem to have been the general rule
one
of the Balkans
meaning
until
in
the
another
11th
language
century.
that is almost the same,
Switching
right?
now over to the Western
But then
trade
there's a
routes. They
synonym for
began in
that,
the
and it's
Frankish and
completely
Moravian
different,
eastern
and the synonym is
frontiers
similar
and
to another
flowed into the
word
trade ports
in the
of
OG
Venice,
language
Marseille,
that has nothing to do with the actual meaning. It's like, it's really, really cool.
Arab geographer Ibn Hakwal tells us that in the 10th century, all of the slaves in Al-Andalus, today Spain, came from the western lands of Sakaliba, for they are being raided from one side by nomadic tribes and from the other by the Franks. He concludes with, in these areas, many captives can still be obtained. In fact,
I have
so
time to
many
finish
captives
the
can still be obtained from
video,
this
and then I
area
have to
that
go.
Prague became one of the
Then I have to
most
go, then I
well-known
have to
European
leave.
slave markets of the 10th century. Ibrahim ibn Yaqub visited
Maybe
Prague
sooner,
in the
because I
10th
hear a car
century,
outside,
most
but I'm
likely on a
guessing
trading
it's not
trip,
the
and
repairman. He
described
said
the
he'll be
city
here in
thusly.
like
The city of
half
Prague
an
is
hour or
built of
something.
stone and lime, and it is the most important trading site of this country. The Norse and the Sakaliba come there from Krakow with commodities to trade, and so do Muslim merchants from the lands of the Turks, as well as Hungarians and the Jews, all with gold.
But like the Norse
They carry
and
away slaves, tin, and various kinds of furs. Their country is the best in the north. Just like in the east, slave raiding expeditions into the western Slavic lands
Actually, I see
were
the
quite
point.
common. Franks raided
Hey,
the
thank you for
Polybian
joining,
Slavs,
Chubbs. Thank you, thank you, thank
Moravians, and
you.
later
Hope you
Bohemians
learned
raided
something new.
Silesia
Hope
and
you
the
learned
Poles,
something new
and
about
Venice also
Slavs.
frequently
At
raided
least.
the Adriatic coast for Slavic slaves. The Slavic slaves captured by the Bohemians and the Franks were mostly sent to Verdun, which was a major medieval slave hub where many of the Slavic slaves were castrated. This was mostly done to prepare them for the Islamic market, which preferred eunuchs. As one Muslim writer put it, if there are two Slavic brothers from the same mother and father, even if one of them is the twin brother of the other, when one of them is castrated, he becomes a better servant and smarter in all kinds of activity and manual work. He will be more skilled than them and more fitting for them. You will also find him more intelligent in conversation. These are all his qualities. The volume of primarily Slavic slaves, but not just, being traded through Western Europe, the primarily Muslim, but also the Byzantine worlds, was so large that according to
My
Michael
theory of
McCormick,
Greater
this
Croatia
trade
has
was
just
the origin of the
taken
European
a
economy.
humongous
Well,
hit.
more precisely, the origin of the Western European economy. McCormick argues that the export of slaves played a primary, but not exclusive, role in securing the
Yeah, that was
privileged
just sick.
economic
Yeah.
position of Western Europe going into the late Middle Ages and beyond. The fact the West did not use a lot of slaves in the Middle Ages, but traded them for what he calls southern riches, created a massive trade surplus for Western Europe, which paved the way for later Western European economic expansion. Now, this theory is currently being debated,
Makes
but
sense.
the fact that it can even be seriously proposed showcases the scale of the medieval Slavic slave trade.
They were not
Due to
slave
this
owners
large-scale Slavic
themselves,
slave
so like
trade, it should
technically,
not be surprising that the Slavic ethnonym became to be synonymous
technically they never
with
got the
slavery.
reputation
The
of
fact
being
that the majority
trash.
of slaves being
But
traded
they were
in
selling
the
slaves.
European and Islamic markets were Slavs meant that the Latin word for Slav, sklavus, became first synonymous with the word servus, and then, when servus became to mean serf, sklavus simply took its place and gradually, over the course of the 9th to 11th centuries, became the default word for slave. To quote William
I see that.
Phillips, to describe the true slaves, a new word was coined, derived from the most numerous ethnic group in the medieval slave trade, the Slavs. The word has cognates in all Western languages. Slave in English, esclava in French, esclavo in Spanish, escravo in Portuguese, esclavo in Italian, and sclava in German.
Bro, all of
Same
them.
linguistic change happened in Greek, where the word sklavos, derived from the original Byzantine word
I feel
for
we
the
should strike
Slavs,
back.
today
I
means
feel that
slave.
when we
Same
teach
thing
people into
also
Slavic
briefly happened
language,
in Arabic, where
our
during the
word,
Middle Ages,
word for
the word
cock
sakaliba
should
could
have
mean
something
both
to do with
Slavs
Germans.
or white slaves. Although this change wasn't uniform across the Arab world, nor did it survive past the Middle Ages.
Like hit them where it
The
hurts.
life of a slave during the Middle Ages was heavily dependent on where they ended up, but for the most part, the kind of slavery present in 19th century Americas wasn't really common in the Middle Ages. As William Phillips states, most societies had mechanisms for slave acculturation.
Most powerful
provided
Slavs?
means for them to become free, and most allowed a lesser
Brats.
or greater degree of
Niemec,
assimilation
a
into
simple
the
who
dominant
can't
group.
speak, yeah, actually
This is
true.
not to say that they weren't treated poorly. They most certainly were.
Their
After
country is
all, the
literally
survival rate
Niemeczka.
of castration in medieval Europe was quite low. However, it is important
That's
to
true.
give some
Take
point
the
of
most
reference
offensive
as to the
terms
scale
for
of the
other nations
treatment
out of all
compared to
Slavic
something that
languages,
people
and
might
that's
be more
getting
familiar
into
with.
inter-Slavic.
It is also
Yeah,
prudent to
true.
mention, if it
Good
wasn't
reminder.
obvious already, that not all medieval
Немец.
slaves were Slavs. Slavs constituted the majority of the medieval European slave population, not its entirety. Also, as Mats Rosland states, slave traders made no ethnic distinction when selling and buying. In other words, Slavs weren't more likely to be enslaved because they were Slavs. Slavery based on some kind of perceived race or ethnicity didn't really exist in the Middle Ages.
True.
Slavs constituted the largest number of slaves because of their economic, political, geographical, and religious situations, not
Yeah,
because of
true.
their quote-unquote race. In the 11th and 12th century, when Hungarian, Polish, Rus, and various nomadic polities were more firmly established in Central and Eastern Europe, the Slavic slave trade didn't stop.
Fuck, I wanted to say
Wars
something,
among
and then
these
I got into
polities
bottle of
provided a
water,
supply
and now
of
I don't
slaves,
remember
and
what it
lawless
was.
areas in between them still harbored some pagan Slavs who could be captured.
Ah, it was about
and sold.
paganism.
But past the High Middle
I had a
Ages,
phase where I
the
was
Slavic
really
slave
willing
trade
to
did
learning
slow down. The
about pagan
primary
gods and
reason for
everything,
this
and it's actually
slowdown
rather
was the
interesting
full
because the
conversion
word
of all the
pagan
Slavs to Christianity.
was
Once
used in
Christian, it
negative
became
meaning
harder
by
for the
Christians who
Hungarians,
wanted
the
to
Germans, and
show
various
pagans
other
as
Slavs
some
to
sort of like
justify the
a
enslavement of
primitive
other fellow
way to do
Christians.
religion,
Plus,
right?
the
They were like,
slow
oh, these
expansion
people
of
are primitives,
feudalism
they belong
into
to the
Eastern Europe and
wrong
the expansion
belief.
of control by the various polities
And
into
it's
all
kind
the
of
lawless
interesting to me how
areas of Eastern
strongly
Europe meant
that
slave
negative
raiding
meaning
became
of the
much harder
word
to conduct.
stayed
This
until
didn't mean
today,
that Slavic
really.
enslavement went fully away. Trading cities like Genoa and Venice found ways around the religious rules, and areas in today's southern Ukraine and Russia continued to be raided for slaves by various nomadic groups who were primarily sponsored by the Ottomans. But the height of the medieval Slavic slave trade, the trade that gave us the word slave itself and possibly even contributed to the kickstarting of the Western European economy, was no more. With all that said, some Slavs today often react negatively to the idea that the word
I think.
slave
Oh,
comes
is he
from
gonna
the word
say why
Slav,
this
and
negative
sometimes
reaction
even
is
try
wrong?
to deny it. This response is not unfounded, as anti-Slavic sentiments had been very strong in Western Europe for centuries. German scholar Friedrich Schlegel
let's
in
actually see where he's
1808
gonna go.
described the Slavs as a shallow Chinese race. Engels and Marx stated in 1851 that the natural and inevitable fate of these dying Slavic nations is to allow this process of dissolution and absorption by their stronger Germanic neighbors to complete itself. A British ethnologist, Robert Knox, in 1862 described the barbarous Slavs as uncivilized and inferior to the Saxons. And, of course, I don't even need to mention the idea of the Untermenschen from the East, which was based on 19th century anti-Slavic propaganda and was extensively used by the Nazis. With all this history of racism against the Slavs, it should not be surprising that some Slavs today are quite defensive, even denialist, when someone mentions the prominent medieval Slavic slave trade or the fact that the word slave comes from the word Slav, because Slavs rather than actual history. But all of this actually
you know what I think is the problem. You know what I think is the problem. If you've ever met a denier of this theory, you know exactly what the problem is. Spend 3 seconds speaking to them. It's because they don't understand which word came from which word, right? So the idea is that Slav existed as a word, and then the word slave was derived from it. The problem with denialism, and even when he showed screenshots of people denying it, he showed people falling within that. Word Slav comes from word slava, which means glory, and has nothing to do with the English word slave. It's because people mix up the order in which words came to be. And that is why people fight against this idea. It's because they think that when you say slave comes from Slav, they actually understand it very often as if Slav comes from slave, not the other way around, right? Because it was Slava, from Slava came Slav, and from Slav came slave. But Slav existed previously. And the mix match in the timeline of this is, what usually creates denialism of the fact. The Latin word for slave is servus. Slav comes from previous name for the ethnic group, which presumably transformed to Sloveni from either word Slava or Slava. There is no reason to think Roman Empire suddenly believe there's a specific ethnic group dedicated to be slave, because they didn't. They didn't. That's not what people who support this theory are saying in the first place. But if you mix match the timeline in which the words came to be used, in which they came to exist, you are easily falling into the trap of not understanding what the theory actually is saying. That's that. But also, I have to leave now. I have to leave because the repairman is going to be here in a second. So yeah, going to escape the stream. Next stream Friday, same time as today. So if you have any good researches or whatever, send them to me. Saved from the last stream, we were talking about the King in Yellow group of stories, but Isaac is not here today, so I couldn't update him on it. But I actually saved the book because I really want to buy it. I've read the review of the book itself and I've heard that it's really, really good. So I'm gonna try to grab it. Apparently, it's like a collection of stories, and the second one is supposed to be really, really strongly worded. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of hyped about getting some new books. Yeah, be seeing you. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay hating on Russians, and yeah, see ya Friday.